First off, thank God, praise the Lord, that we can talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on, let's see what you say. It's the people's debate. Sports mailman Joe with the news. White T Cody opposing views. Sheriff West got picks for you. Milton is the glue. But your thoughts make this click. Opinion, raise questions. What you got to say, quick give. It's the people's debate. It's the people's debate.
Are we on there?
People. Glory, all the glory and all the praise to Jesus Christ. This is the People's Debate. It is Wednesday. Time reads 8 o'clock Central Time. And tonight we talk NFC East football. And yes, my friends, we are live. I am your host, Milton. I am honored and grateful to be joined by these two brethren I have to my left or right, whatever. And down there, we got the one and only White T Cody in the building. And of course, we got the man to deliver us all the news in Joe, the sports mailman. Thank you, everybody that's here now. Much appreciation to you all. Apologies on the late arrival. Make sure if you are here, let's say for the first time, you like and subscribe to the dang video, please. I would appreciate it. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the People's Debate Football Podcast. But nonetheless, grateful for you all. If you're not watching this live and you're watching this on another day that is not Wednesday, much love and appreciation to you. And please like and subscribe to the channel. Fellas, that's enough out of me. How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Tomorrow's actually my birthday, so I'm a little excited. Going to be 32 years young tomorrow, so hopefully it's a good day tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy
appreciate
birthday. What do you have planned?
Tomorrow we're going to get together with some family and stuff, go eat, just have a good time, and then before that I'm actually going to be a little bit of fatty and go get all my freebies, free cookies and free everything on your birthday.
You're going to take advantage. Whatever. It's your day, dude. It is your day. Cody, how you doing, brother?
I've had a pretty good week, so just been staying busy. About to finish up this job, probably do another one here, and then probably come back to Texas hopefully soon. So I've just been doing my thing.
So you're gonna be able to? Are you still gonna be able to see the Texans and Rams or no? Not after all.
Yeah. Another job should be like 6 weeks or so. So I think it'll be right on time.
Okay, hell yeah.
Real quick on the comments, Mr. Sean Conaway, happy birthday, bro. That is to you, Joe.
Yeah, so everybody, for people who do not know who Sean is, later on in the season, he will be coming on. He's a big-time college football guy, so check him out on TikTok. A little shout-out to you, Sean Conaway Sports on TikTok. If you love throwback, vintage stuff, that is Conaway Sports, everybody.
All right. Conaway Sports. Yes, TikTok. You gave me a shout out. I appreciate you, brother. Brandon, hey, man. Glad to see you. Turns out Texans are going 17-0. All right. Well, we already did the AFC South, but it's good to see you. And yeah, stick around, dude. We might have some spicy takes for you. Real quick, fellas, thank y'all for joining me. Sincerely appreciate it. With the NFC East conversation that we are going to have in a couple of minutes, I think I just want to preface everything by saying that the NFC East, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, has not had a repeat division winner since 2003.
Yeah, so was it like 22 years, something like that? I got to check the stats, But over 20, like this division can legally drink if you think about it. No repeat winners. It's
That's
crazy
funny.
to think. Because if you think about it, like a lot of divisions, like AFC East has been ran by the Bills and then the Patriots.
Right.
Let me see some other divisions. On the top of my head, Kansas City's been
Lastly,
running the
you're
AFC,
right.
AFC West. Let me see some other ones on top of my head. There's like numerous divisions where it's like, like San Francisco has usually been running the NFC West until, this past season, the injury bug has hit them. But like, like year in and year out, these are the teams for that division. The NFC East, it's a crapshoot because no repeat winner. And then, like last year, the Commanders came out of nowhere, got into the NFC Championship game. So this division, it's just whoever gets the hot hand, who's the healthiest at the most, and you see it.
Yep, it's going to be a very interesting season. How the way this pans out. Before we get into news, real quick, Brandon has a take. Cowboys 10-7 are second in their division with the surprise face or the mouth open face. Eagles repeat winner for the first time. We'll talk about it. Let's see if we agree with you. But before we get into NFC East talk, of course, we are honored to be here with Joe, the sports mailman. So he's here to deliver us some freaking news.
So what's going on, everybody? So this past week, we had a couple football greats, in my opinion, retire from the league this past year. So a bunch of our childhood favorites, are starting to wean out more and more. Jimmy Graham retired. He retired as Saint as well. Mike Williams, unfortunately, those hamstrings could not stay together. What could have been if he could have just stayed healthy. And also, probably one of the greatest college football players of all time and one of the greatest safeties of all time, in my opinion, the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. They all decided to hang it up over this past week. So I don't know if we're getting older or what, but it just feels weird to me seeing some of these guys we grew up watching hang it up.
Tyrann Mathieu threw me off. Wasn't ready for that one. He was still playing at a very, very high level. I mean, New Orleans, there's nothing to look forward to. So maybe
I think that's what it was, man.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I want to see. I need to look at his contract to see how many years he had left because of that, New Orleans still technically holds his rights. In a sense, what if in a year, if he only had 1 year left on his contract, and he was like, you know what, I want to come back now. New Orleans wasn't going to be that good of a team. Let me just come back, get healthy, and try to run it back one last dance, pretty much with him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. But moving on, man. Over this past week, TJ Watt signed an historic deal, 4 years, $123 million, 108 of that which was guaranteed at signing, making him the highest paid non-quarterback at $41 million per year. Crazy money getting thrown out for some of these defensive players now.
Well, I think I don't know what week we mentioned the TJ Watt stuff, but I said there's no issue. Nothing's going to happen. He's going to get paid, and he got paid. So
yeah, and it was funny. It was funny. JJ Watt commented on that. He's like, if he even lets me pull out my wallet, I'm gonna hit him.
Yeah, and he should. You saw that. I know y'all seen the amount of years JJ played, the amount of money versus just this one contract.
Yeah, but JJ killing him in endorsements.
That could be fair. I still think all around money, I think TJ's still the bigger baller. But that's true. I give you that. He did have a lot
of them endorsements that get you more than your career pass.
You could be right.
JJ, you always see him on them Dodge Ram commercials now.
Yeah,
Dodge Ram got the money.
HEB commercials, everything.
Is he on? He's on HEB commercials too.
Oh yeah.
Because I know in San Antonio we have the Spurs commercials. We don't get like the Houston Texans ones. I know they do Houston Texans and Houston Astros, so I don't get to see those commercials.
Yeah, no, he was at one point even had like his own. You know how HEB does their ice cream, the creamy creation thing.
Yeah,
he had like his own flavor and all that at one point.
Oh, the JJ Watt flavor.
Type something like that, yeah.
But JJ, okay, that was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. Go ahead. Sorry. This is
moving on. So another guy getting paid over this past week was George Kalafis signing a pretty big deal compared to what I was thinking he was going to get. 4 years, $93 million, 62 of it guaranteed to keep the pass rusher in Kansas City for the next 4 years. So him and Chris Jones can terrorize opposing quarterbacks week in and week out.
I'm glad you mentioned Chris Jones because that's where Karlaftis shines. Chris Jones is
Oh,
on
yeah.
the field. Karlaftis shines. Without Chris Jones, it is debatable if Karlaftis is worth that money. But I mean, getting out in front of it now, good on Kansas City.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because it's not even 25 million per year. So in about a year or two, that's going to look pennies on the dollar.
We need to give Kansas City all around credit how they've been doing this.
Yes.
As far as paying their
Yeah.
players for the past few years, they've been handling it like the best in the league.
The players that need it, no unnecessary drama like we talked about San Francisco. I agree. Real quick, sticking on Kansas City, Brandon has a comment. Chiefs got to move on from Jawan Taylor if they want to pay McDuffie and others. That's probably going to happen. Jawan Taylor's probably on a prove it kind of thing because, yes, he's a veteran presence. He solidifies the right side, but we all know, one, he's false starting all the time. He's finally been caught on it. And then two, against the premium pass rushers, he tends to struggle.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and with him always lining up like a yard or two behind the line of scrimmage is always funny to me.
Fair.
And I'll be like, when we watch the games, like I'm like, do the refs not see this like right off the jump? Like he's
It looks
literally
off. Even if you don't know football, you're like, what's up with that guy? What is he doing?
Yeah, for sure. But moving on, man, Will Levis is gonna have season-ending surgery already. So last season he hurt his right shoulder. I guess trying to help the Tennessee Titans, get a top pick, which he did. And he decided to say, you know what? I'm having season-ending surgery. You picked my replacement in Cam Ward. So screw all y'all. I'm gonna not show up to work now for the whole year.
I'm not mad at him. I think that's a player move.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he is going forward. He was looked at possibly as a franchise level quarterback in Tennessee. Unfortunately, he did not look like that, and that's the thing. I want to see him next year because you've seen some of these other guys that have bounced around like Justin Fields, Sam Darnold's guys of the world. Will he get that second chance and possibly shine in another situation now that he is not going to possibly be back with Tennessee?
Well, if Cam Ward goes down, joke's on Tennessee.
Yeah, no, big time. I'm like, hopefully not.
Who's the one behind them now
I
that
have no
Will
clue.
Levis is out?
I have zero clue because it's no longer Mason Rudolph's not there anymore.
Yeah, Rudolph's gone.
I can look it up right now. Let me see.
While you're looking that up, let's put something funny from Brother Brandon. Will Cam Ward be getting a mayonnaise commercial?
No,
hopefully.
he's gonna remake Undercover Brother, anti-mayonnaise. Never.
Dang, that's good. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's a good one. Damn. Well,
that movie
you heard it here first.
Like
you heard it here first from White.
So Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
Yeah.
Again, joke's on them. Will Levis. Who knows? But I think there's a lot of turnovers, but there's still some big playability in Will Levis. Give it or take, whatever. But go ahead, Joe.
So moving on to all great in the NFL. Now we're moving on to what's going on in the drama side of the NFL right now. Terry McLaurin said he's not reporting to training camp, holding out for a new deal. If JD5 doesn't have his top wide receiver, I don't know how this offense looks. I feel like Terry is one of the big focal points of this offense. I think he's the head of the snake. Of course, JD5 is the trigger man, but I just think Scary Terry makes this offense that much better with him on the field.
What's your thoughts, Cody?
I think that it's unfortunate for his career that the Commanders are getting good this late. I think if they got this good 2 years ago, that without hesitation, they'd pay him. I think he's just right in that balance of, if I give him this big contract at the end of it, is he still going to be at this level? Right. So they don't know what to kind of do. And that's just unfortunate for him. But I feel like he paid his dues long enough. They should pay him good money. I mean, he didn't quit on the team, so
I couldn't agree more, dude. You nailed every single point. When it comes to Terry, like you said, it's just unfortunate in the point of his career that they decide to get a quarterback that's worth anything, and he's coming off of one of his best performances as far as red zone performances, most touchdowns he's ever had, right? And yards per route run. One of those kind of big playabilities. Scary Terry's always been that, but it was more shown this last year. Now, the amount that he's probably asking for, like we just talked about last week or the week prior, Garrett Wilson got paid. He's probably assuming, and I think we all would probably agree, not just talent, but just overall, that Terry's been more productive than a Garrett Wilson by all, like there's circumstances, but just objectively, he's been more productive. But if he wants to get paid like Garrett Wilson has the young factor that's benefiting him. So, but however, if we look at Mike Evans getting paid, he's getting paid like 24 mil, right? I'm pretty sure Scary Terry's agent is like, no, that's not happening. Garrett Wilson just got 30, 31. We got to be in that kind of range. And that's where I think the dilemma is there. Because it's like, where are you going to meet? Sure, Mike Evans, they got a deal on Mike Evans, but also is Terry going to be the number one target 3-4 years down the road?
But at the same time, Mike Evans at one point was getting the bag. So Mike Evans has kind of he got his bags versus Terry's kind of like, I want one now, because I don't think Terry's ever been a top paid receiver. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because right now Terry's making 23 million per, which isn't nothing to slouch at. So let me name off the top paid wide receivers. Jamar Chase is 1, Justin Jefferson 2, CD at 3, DK at 4, Garrett Wilson now at 5 because of the new contract. AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Tyreek, Ayuk, Higgins, Waddle, DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, Debo Samuels, and Michael Pittman Jr., and then finally Scary Terry.
Right. Terry should, especially what he means to that organization. And like Cody said, what he's dealt with and overcame and not been a toxic cancer in the locker room for what he had to deal with. We all would agree. Yeah, Terry deserves to get paid. Like, I get the business aspect, but he deserves to get paid. Go ahead.
Yeah, moving on to another guy that's actually going to hold out. Adam Schefter talked to this man, Trey Hendrickson, asking him if he was going to report to his contract. He's like, I'm not going to report for a 1-year deal on top of the deal I have, and then not get any money after that. So another guy saying, you know what, pay me, or I'm gonna stay put. I ain't showing up.
Man, I don't know how to feel about this situation. Like, what one thing we all can agree on: Cincinnati really screwed the pooch, no matter how you look at it, either with Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart, whatever the case may be. But if they are offering you, and I don't know this to be true, if they are offering you let's say what TJ got 45, how much did he get?
41.
If they're offering you, let's say 38 mil for 1 year only, why not? Like, I get you want a long-term deal, but okay, well now you're getting whatever you're already assigned to get plus that. So why not? You want the long-term deal. I get it for security, but dude, I can't even bring the age factor in it because Myles Garrett's not young, TJ Watt's not young, and they got paid. So it's just a tough situation to be in. Cincinnati really screwed the pooch because let me ask y'all something. Since we're on Cincinnati, what do you think is more important, to get Trey Hendrickson a deal that obviously that he'll play on, or to get Shamar Stewart a deal? If you had to pick one, and why?
If I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Shamar Stewart just because he's younger.
Whoa.
And you're not gonna have to pay him 30, 40 plus million per. Well, Shamar Stewart, you're probably gonna have to pay him anywhere between 12 to 18 million for the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's rough.
That's just me.
I'm on the other side, but what do you think?
I'm just going by like the money that they already spent already, because they already paid Joe Burrow a couple seasons ago, paid Jamar, then they paid T. So a lot of money is invested in those 3 guys alone, and then you're gonna have to pay Trey as well. And unfortunately, he's on the bad end of it, the age, and they're gonna be like, well, you're a little bit older, bro, so we don't want to pay this much money, and you get hurt.
Your thoughts, Cody?
I would lean towards Trey. My only thing is with the Bengals at this point, with how they played it out, is it almost counterproductive to even bring them back now for you? Your defense is going to be so bad anyways. If you want to pay them all this money, you might as well just reset your defense I mean, you bring him back, he plays a year, and what, he wants to get traded the next year because you ain't gonna improve it in one season like that. So I mean, how long is he really gonna want to stay playing in Cincinnati? He just wants a long deal so he can get that money, and then I guarantee you he's gonna want out. So I think it's just at this point you might as well just let him go.
Well, the last premise we don't know, like as far as him wanting to, he's going to want to leave anyway. We don't know that, so I'm not going to put that on him.
Yeah, I'm projecting, yeah.
But I'll say the reason why I think Trey Hendrickson is, yes, their defense was bad last year. The only bright spot was Trey Hendrickson. So this upcoming year, last year, none of us predicted the Bengals to be as bad, and we knew on paper what their defense was, right? Their defense on paper isn't that bad. They just played very bad last year. So if the defense just isn't as bad next year, their best opportunity to win now, which they're in win now. They're not thinking about the future. Like you said, Joe, they just paid the 2 receivers. Joe Burrow's not getting any younger. Hendrickson he has played at a top 4, top 5 level the last 3-4 years. So Trey Hendrickson would be the main guy that you're going to be shooting for. Shamar Stewart, he could be a bust. I get he's a first-round pick, and that's going to suck that. Let's say he re-enters the draft next year. You wasted a first-round pick. I get that. But we don't know if he's going to be any good anyway. So that I think for Cincinnati, one, they're just in a bind because they're just absolutely terrible what they do. But I would go for the Trey Hendrickson because they're in win now mode, and he gives you the best opportunity to win now. That's what I would say. Shamar Stewart, again, he could just be a 5-sack kind of guy. What's that? That's really not going to help you at all. But go ahead, Joe.
No, yeah, for sure. It's just, to me, I'm just thinking about like build for the future. Trey Hendrickson, what Cody was saying, like he gets his contract and then he's like still disgruntled and stuff and doesn't play up to the standard he's been playing the past couple seasons. Then it's like, well, he's getting the best contract in football to just be mediocre.
Hold on real quick. If they gave Hendrickson Defensive Player of the Year last year, would they be paying him? That is a very good question.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
because
think
the
they
media
would
force them to. Yeah.
Yeah, they would
Well,
force Mr. Brown.
They would have gave him the bag over
T,
Higgins.
yeah.
Yeah, they would have let T walk probably.
Yeah, but the crazy thing was the media, was crying for T to get paid, and that's what they did.
Joe was crying for T to get paid. So they one guy they're going to listen to is Joe, but sometimes you can't, because I'm pretty sure Joe wants Trey to get paid, but that's why you can't just listen to quarterbacks. Quarterback's obviously going to want his 2 nice shiny weapons. That might not be benefiting your overall team success, as I think we're going to see next year. But we'll talk about that when AFC North comes around.
Yeah. And then last but not least, man, always the drama with this team. The Micah Parsons drama continues to unfold in the media. Jerry Jones just can't seem to contain himself for some reason, talking about Micah Parsons, saying, oh, if we pay him, there might be a reason why he might be on the field. Like, I paid a player the past season, and he was hurt majority of the season, throwing a dig at Dak. Jerry, what are you doing? Like, you actually have a guy who's not holding out like in years past, and like CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin, to name a few.
Right.
And he's coming to practice. Like, I would have thought the opposite, the way Micah is in the media, the way he is. And your leader of your defense is showing up and bringing his lunch pail mentality to work. And, just shut up, Jerry. Let him come out. And, I know you're probably not wanting to pay him probably $42 million per, but that's what it's looking like because you didn't get on top of it. Now TJ Watt resetted the market. So
your guy's been like that. He did that with Dak. Nobody had an issue with Dak getting paid a long-term deal, but the price tag that he got paid, that's the big. Dak's the highest paid. How the heck does that kind of thing? Nobody had a problem with him getting paid, but until they waited so long and then that price changed to what it was, that's the issue. He's constantly waiting too long to pay the guys. I don't like how, one, it's just Jerry Jones. Like, you should be used to this, Joe. He's done. This isn't the first time that this has happened. This is the same thing. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is, like, in years past, like, if he wanted to say something about guys who weren't showing up to training camp, I would be okay. He's not showing up. Okay, I understand. He's trying to do betterment of his own doing, like the player. But Micah Parsons is probably like the first time ever that a player is showing up and just doing his job, and you're still going to take a dig at him. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, come on, Jerry. But I know it's Jerry Jones, like, stirring the pot, wanting to make sure he is in the middle of all the media, and he's doing it. Everybody's talking about it right now.
That's true. Shame. Yes. Thank you for being here, brother. When it comes to Jerry, that's what I was watching. There was a guy that debated Jalen yesterday on the People's Debate TikTok. And I was in the comments and I said, this guy can actually, he has substance. It wasn't just a bunch of fallacy, claim. He was making sense. And so I wanted to reach out or at least get to if he has a YouTube. And so I watched his YouTube, and he's a Cowboy fan. And he made a brilliant point in stating that, one, Jerry just does this. What I commented on that point was he's a marketing genius. He is a guy that he doesn't care about how it makes him look. He just wants people to talk about the Cowboys. And like you said, it worked. Everybody's talking about what's going on with Dallas. Also, we've seen this before when it came to, what was it, Tony Romo, DeMarcus Ware. We've seen this before. So, I mean, as far as how it plays out, I think we all are on the same page that we are pretty sure that Micah's going to get paid. It's just the way that Jerry's going about it with taking digs at players that played for him and then got hurt. I think that's not smart. That's just not smart, dude. They're professionals and they're going to play to win no matter who the owner is. But that's just not a smart move, dude.
Yeah, and it's funny. So after that, Michael went to TikTok and was posting pictures of him in his Cowboys jerseys. I don't know if you saw this or not, Milton. And he was playing the audio. This is the end.
Yeah. So, okay. The part of this TikTok era, dude. Yeah. No, I didn't see it. That's funny though.
Yeah.
Is that all the news, Joe?
Yeah. So that is all the news for this week, man. So you'll be having another delivery next Wednesday from the Sports Mailman, everybody.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, let me go down here. Put Cody up there. All right, fellas, let's get into our NFC East. Anything and everything NFC East. Real quick, he started friction with CD2.
Last season.
He took digs at so many guys on the team. Star players. If we went at like Jack Sanborn, okay, sure. All right. But you took a dig at all of your stars. Just absolutely absurd. Cody, you're good, brother. Okay. Let us get into our NFC East real quick. With the NFC East, a lot comes with talking about the NFC East because you have huge fan bases within at least two of these organizations. You have championships with all of them. Exactly. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of emotion, ego, and all that kind of stuff when it comes to talking about the NFC East. So if you're one of those that get emotionally involved in guys like us making predictions that might not happen, well, we're going to do it, okay? And I'm sorry to say it. Yeah, like Cody said, gestured, cry, Eagles cry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's that. Oh, that was the only thing that made sense. Real quick, Joey, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being here, dude. Hey, I see it's on Facebook. Hey, man, go to YouTube real quick. You ain't got to watch on YouTube. It's all good. You're busy. But make sure you go on YouTube.
So I can sleep, everybody.
Right down there, it says The People's Debate, no spaces. You'll see our beautiful faces. And hit that subscribe button, okay? So I could sleep at night. We only got one new subscriber. Insomnia has been a pain in the keister, dude. Okay? All right. Well, this time round, we are going to we've been going about the divisional breakdown from worst to first as far as 24-25 season. This time we'll go from first to worst. So the first team up is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Now,
Cry, Eagles, cry. Oh,
They did win the championship, Joe. So it's kind of bad timing on your part.
it is. It is what it is, man. But I'm a Cowboys fan. It's just the hatred in me.
Yep, the haterade is definitely
Yeah.
prominent. Now, when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, last year, of course, they went 14-3. They are the Super Bowl champs, the number one rushing attack, the number one overall defense. Everything that could go right for the Eagles last year went right. As far as health, there was a couple health concerns with Lane
Jurgens.
Johnson and Jurgens. But once playoffs came, they were fine. So it was all good towards the end. Despite what Eagles fans and popular media go about saying, well, the Eagles are just still the most talented roster, I would disagree. I would say offensively, you can make the case. Of course, you have the best rusher in Saquon. The offensive line, I have issues with Mekhi Becton leaving. But if that piece is out and Steen's not great, nonetheless, the offense is still a top 2, top 3 offense. And I think it'll play as such. Also, when it comes to the defense, that was the key departures. Now, before I start discussing Philly, did you guys want to interject on possibly what, and let's just stick with last year. So what do y'all think went right? And what do you think were maybe some flaws that you saw in the Eagles last year?
So with the
Just like,
Eagles, with me, their young guys played phenomenal this past year. Even with Jalen Carter, I think it was his second year, and then Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, those young guys in the secondary were able to get going, and then Jordan Davis as well with Jalen Carter. So a lot of the young guys were hitting, and that's what helped out a lot because there were kind of question marks because uh, Darius Slay was there last season. A lot of their secondary guys were older, and now they're gone. Now these secondary guys are going to step up even more. Now they're in prominent roles. That's what really helped them last season because that offense was going to get going no matter what with that run game. It was just that defense. How was it going to be? How was it going to mesh together? How are these young guys going to step into the roles? And they did it really well last season.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect unison of older veterans with the young talent. It was perfect. And then, of course, like we said last offseason, when discussing the Eagles before they went on the Super Bowl run, I said the main positive, of course, is the 2 coordinators, but my thing was Vic Fangio. Fangio, I've been a huge fan, even when he was a head coach. It didn't go well in Denver, but as a defensive mind, he set the standard for a lot of these other defensive coordinators that people love. So I second what you're saying, Joe. Cody, what flaws did you see last year? I know they won the Super Bowl, and we ain't no haters here, but what flaws did you see? Not saying they addressed it or not, but just last year watching the Philadelphia Eagles, what flaws may have you have seen?
Can y'all hear that? Okay.
Is somebody's honking a horn a little bit or something?
Yeah, it was a car alarm. So I was about to say pass the question, but it stopped. Flaws last year from the Eagles. As far as offensive wise, yeah, I think they had no flaws really. Their offensive line came out, played perfect. I know there was the whole thing about Kelsey being gone. How would they end up fixing that, or would they be able to fulfill those shoes? They did that perfectly. Offensive line was top of the line. Defensive wise, I think it was just anytime they would have a bad moment, it was just like the game where they choked against Kirk Cousins early on. The defense, I think that was more of just inexperienced moment for some of the players. Like Joe was saying, a lot of the players that came in big, were rookies. So early on, I think was a little bit of growing. But as they got going, man, they meshed so well. Overall, I don't think there was like consistent flaws really. It was just, they would have some bad moments, but
right on moments. Right on. Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it. And that's typically who wins the Super Bowl, right? They didn't have a lot of bad. It was just a couple moments like, that wasn't the greatest, but that's NFL football. I'll put this on real quick just so Chi-Town said, shut up. That's trash. All right. Whatever.
Hey, Hopefully quick recovery, man, Alex. Hopefully, ACL tears aren't, common. Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully the meds get you back and running, man.
ACL tear. Well, it's not saying that it was written, but it's kind of is what it is, Chi-Town, huh? I'm just kidding.
Minor setback for major comeback.
Yeah, right on. But yeah, when it comes to the Eagles, now let's get on to the free agency draft kind of period. Again, like I said a bit earlier, the departures on defense was key for me. You losing, I get it. Their veteran presence. Hopefully, what they're depicting or predicting is that the young talent takes that next step. Which again, last year they played well with the veterans. We don't know if they can play well by themselves. So Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Isaiah Rodgers Jr., Avonte Maddox. That's the secondary. That's Bradbury sucks. You see, I didn't mention him. I won't even mention him because he played absolutely terrible. I won't give him a shout out. Sorry. A lot of people thought Maddox played terrible, but when you really look at it, he played fine. It's just if there was number one receiver sliding in, guess what? He's not a number one corner. But anyways, I'm not going to bring up Bradbury. He's absolutely terrible. But other than the secondary, that's a lot of secondary pieces that are gone, no longer on the team. Again, Vic Fangio defensive scheme plays well with a deep, good depth secondary. That's how his defense typically flourishes. So again, we'll see. Also, when it comes to what they semi-lacked in the regular season, it was just inconsistent. But in the playoffs, played very well was their pass rush. But then the two of the three best pass rushers in Melton Williams and Josh Sweat are no longer with the team as well. Now, with that being said, I do think the pieces that are already on the team can step up into that, and the additions that they made in the offseason possibly can replace a Josh Sweat, possibly just with athletic talent and being a Josh Uche being a actual just pass rusher. That's all he is. Losing some people on the offensive line. Driscoll, Fred Johnson, not really worried. They didn't play well either. Anyways, Mekhi Becton, like I said earlier, was a bigger loss just because in run blocking, he was one of the top guys for the team. Go ahead, Joe.
But was it though? Because whenever coming into the season prior, we didn't know how he was going to play. His years with the Jets were abysmal at best. He was injury plagued throughout the whole time he was there. So he came in and did one good season, got his payday. Now he's with the Chargers. Hopefully he continues the play. The thing with me that I'm going to look at for the Eagles is not so much their offense, but their defense, because guys like Mason Graham have retired, and then Fletcher Cox also retired the year prior. Who's now going to be that vocal leader now for that defense moving forward? Because it's a lot of young guys. Is it going to be Zach Bond was only the year before that. So you think about it, like he hasn't really been there as well, because these other guys that they've had in years prior has been there for years on years and years. Like, so who is that guy that's going to now step up? Because it's a young defense. I think Zach Bond and some of these other guys have only been there 2 to 3 years max. So who's going to be that guy? It's a young unit. So who's that guy now?
It is a young unit. I would say I like them. I like Nicholas Morrow, Nakobe Dean. Is he scheduled to play this?
I believe so. It's just with him, man. It's just we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for him to finally turn it around. Like, when is it finally going to happen? Like, some of these guys came out of college because they always drafted for some reason a lot of Georgia Bulldogs, and now it seems like they're just staying in the SEC. Their first round pick that they got this past year from Alabama. When is it some of these guys like Nolan Smith's another guy, like you've seen flashes? Is he finally going to turn it all the way around? Nakobe Dean, is he finally going to turn it all the way around? Like, luckily, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, some of these other guys have hit. But some of these other guys that they're going to really need to, step up this season, can they fill those shoes now?
Yeah, and that's the big question mark.
Yeah.
The players that they added, offensive line-wise, I mean, they added Kenyon Green. I don't think that does much for him. But,
Texan Green.
Yeah, right, sure. I do. Yeah, I bet, Cody. I agree with you. Well, again, what they added on the edge was Aziz and Josh Uche, which I think can replace as far as pure pass rush. Again, I don't think they're as good all around as Milton Williams. Obviously, different lineups.
But even with Milton Williams though, he was a rotational piece and he got the bag with y'all.
Correct.
So
Correct.
That's what I look at, like were they starters?
What they'll do.
That's
probably what they will do with the new guys. Yeah, you could be right. And again, their interior is fine. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I just want to see, because as far as pressures, sacks, all of that, when it comes to the pass rush, they were bottom tier last year. Yet they still did their thing, obviously, because they were number one overall defense. I'm curious to see, like you kind of said, and like I said earlier, it's the secondary. The only thing that they added was Adoree Jackson. Well, it's sure a speed option if he still has it, but I don't know. I think the roster currently can still obviously win a lot of games. Yes, they are well built to win a lot of games, but the roster how it's built now, I don't know if they can make that same playoff push that they made last year. That's the only thing. They're Super Bowl champs. I am not of the belief that if they don't win or make a Super Bowl, that this was a failure of a year. It all depends on how they play. How do they play the teams? What happens, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead, Cody.
No, Nakobe Dean isn't going to play. They placed him on the active / physically unable to perform list as of July 23rd.
Okay. Well, I think that they could take him off though at any time during, because it's in training camp right now. But so he's probably not going to play the first couple games. He might not be healthy for the first couple weeks. Right. So
that's what I think is going to be. Oh, sorry. That's what I think is going to be the Eagles' biggest X factor this year. Is last year they were blessed with avoiding the injury bug to, be dead. To be detrimental. It was detrimental, or they didn't have bad injuries or any really key injuries. So this year, if they're able to maintain the same healthy, I don't know, that'll be very, a one-off, just to stay that healthy back-to-back seasons. That's like true. That.
Very true. And defensively, again, I think they're thinner, so a couple injuries can really knock this team off. I agree. When it comes to their linebacking core, because Chi-Town made a point. Yes, Melton, I agree that the defense did lose some guys. The linebacker room is still a concern for me. Trotter Jr., I like what I see. I'll say that. Of course, we don't know, but everybody seems to love Jahad Campbell. He should be a key piece depending on how they use him, but I think they'll utilize him correctly. Also, one of the I'll play an advocate for the Eagles. There's been a huge negative on the Eagles on saying that, Jalen Hurts has to play with a new offensive coordinator again. One, I don't think that's an issue. It's Jalen freaking Hurts. They kind of already know what they're gonna ask of him to do. And it's the same passing game coordinator that's been there for years. He knows
the game plan's not changing.
No. Well, that's where I think it might. Not because they want it to, or I hope not. Because before I get to being negative, I'm going to get there. Yeah. Before I get to negative Nancy, when it comes to the offseason, fellas, anything that I didn't mention that you guys want to say as far as a positive, negative for their offseason?
No, I'm just glad it wasn't like a big turnover for them in a sense. Like Philly next season, they're gonna have their target on their back now since they are the Super Bowl champs. So it's a lot of stuff that's gonna be status quo. A lot of the guys are coming back the same. They're key guys. So I'm glad about that offensively.
Okay. Well, I would say now here comes negative Nancy here. So I made a new, not a segment, but a new way of going about things. So for the upcoming season, I got the triple O's and the triple P's. So the triple O's is the optimism. So optimistic, optimal outcome. That's going to be the best case scenario for whatever team that we're talking about. And when it comes to negative Nancy talk, it's going to be pessimistic potential problems. That's when I'm going to, because we have to be able to make both, right? Because it's football. It's before the season. Well, we don't freaking know what's going to happen. All right. We can make a educated guess, but I want it to be an educated guess, not just this team's going to suck because they sucked last year. Not fair. So when it comes to Philly, I'm going to go pessimistic potential problems. The run defense doesn't actually take a step. I think with the players that they added, they're mainly, let's say, pass rush or fail. Yes, they're designed to, okay, y'all are going to rush the quarterback. But if they start running the ball, sure, you got Jordan Davis, which is good against the run. Jalen Carter, good against the run. What else do you have there?
Right.
You know, and they're going to get to the second level. And the linebacking core, I think, will be fine. But you're getting to the second level. Eventually, that's going to break a defense down where you're no longer that great on run defense. Also, the run offense becomes stagnant. When I say that, I don't mean Saquon is going to fall off a cliff. I don't think Saquon's going to suck.
No, I'm just kidding.
Cody, come on. Come on. I don't even think he might not make the team. There's like there's rumblings.
I don't know why
in
they
Philly.
offered him that.
He's a big guy, different kind of. He could be a specific skill set kind of guy. He's a big dude, quads, quadzilla guy. So could just be an aesthetic thing. I don't know.
Shoot, could you imagine them seeing who has a bigger quads out of him and Saquon?
Not even close. AJ Dillon, bet it. Bet the house. Bet the house. Let's do it.
It's crazy because they're talking about. I'm gonna have to look it up and send it in the group chat and see.
Don't send me it. Just tell me what you. I don't want to see. I don't want to see the picture. Say it again, bro.
Giant Saquon though.
AJ Dillon's quads are different, dude. He's not as good, but I mean, you got to give him credit. But anyways, let's stop getting me off track. Run offense becomes stagnant just because when we saw some of these teams, not all of them, sometimes it just didn't work, strictly stop the run. They did. The only thing is, especially when it came to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts said, all right, cool. A.J. Brown's one-on-one. Devontae Smith's one-on-one. I'm throwing it over there. And it didn't work. So, but we saw that, and we know with NFL defenses, competent NFL defenses, especially with the competent coordinator, they're going to design plays to stop Saquon Barkley. And if it works, I'm not saying it's going to work, but I think worst case scenario, again, pessimistic potential problems, the run offense can become stagnant where it's not consistent. It's very boom or bust kind of thing. Yeah. And also making that happen can possibly hinder. Oh, not that. Let me reiterate. When it comes to how the new offensive coordinator, he's a Nick. What's the head coach's name? Forgot his name. You're on mute. Sirianni. Sorry.
Sirianni. Yeah, I was trying to come up with it. Yeah.
He's a Sirianni guy. And this is worst case scenario. Nick Sirianni, when he was called to call plays, it didn't go so good. Right? That's when they gave it to Shane Steichen. And then, of course, they constantly gave it to somebody else. Or when all things failed, when they couldn't get an offensive coordinator and they just went in-house and got whoever that guy was, the offense fell off a cliff. That's why they had to go out and get Kellen Moore, not a guy from inside. That's a Sirianni guy. Now you have a Sirianni guy, and that could potentially cause problems. Because if it's anything Sirianni related, they're going to try to throw the ball more, which can work. That'll be on my optimistic, which can work. But it also, we've seen historically that doesn't end well. So if that becomes a thing, that will be a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. When I say it's a problem, I don't mean like missing the playoffs problem, just a problem. Real quick on the optimistic optimal outcome. With Philly, if they do stop the run, we've seen not big chunks of game, not weeks of it. We don't have a long list of it, But we've seen if the ball's in Jalen Hurts' hand, despite people think I am a Jalen Hurts hater, he makes the right decisions. Now, yeah, he's gotten better at making the right decisions. And we've seen last year, especially during the playoffs, he had his best throwing the ball year in that playoffs. In the playoffs specifically, just in the playoffs. So that can be a positive for the Eagles, one, and then a positive for the naysayers and Jalen Hurts. Me and you, Cody, basically. we have constructive criticisms, which are fair, but that can debunk all that. Boom. All right. Well, all right. You had 4,000 plus yards. Let's say 30 touchdowns, good interception ratio. They asked you to do the fourth quarter comebacks, game-winning drives. Guess who's going to be shut up? Us. So that'll keep that to rest, and especially if you're winning games, that's just going to add to a Jalen Hurts legacy. Also, the defense, like Joe said earlier, the young guys took a lot from the older guys from last year, and they all take a step. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Sydney. What's his last name?
Sydney for
the Philly. Sydney Jones.
Follow with Sydney.
Nah, whatever. Sydney, that guy. Blankenship. All of them take a next step, and then it's like nothing ever happened. And then they go on a nice little run.
Oh, Sidney Brown.
Sidney Jones. Who the heck is that? Sidney Brown. All of them take a step, and the defense is maybe not number one, but top 7, top 10. That's a decline, but that's a fine decline for a Super Bowl winning team. So I put that all out there just in case, one, you disagree, so you can come at me. But I just think this team, the upside is still so high, and the floor is still so high with Philadelphia Eagles. What do you guys think about what this year's Philadelphia Eagles will look like without saying the wins? Whoever.
For them, for me, is just can they continue the momentum? That's the thing for me. Can they continue it? Because a lot of teams, regardless if they win or lose a Super Bowl, usually have a Super Bowl hangover. If they can continue it, then they're going to stay on track. Because roster-wise, they're probably a top 3-ish roster, all of football, when you think about it from top to bottom. But can they just continue it? Because now every week it's going to be everybody's best game. I know they get that usually because they're Philly, right, one of the most hated fan bases in all of football, one of the most hated teams in all of football. But now it's even more.
Yeah, I'll second a lot of that. Like I said, the main thing going to be for me is after playing, the long the long postseason, shorter off season, how's everybody going to come back and deal with staying healthy all season long? And also, I'm very interested to see how they start out. I don't want to see them start out super hot. I rather them start out kind of content and get warmed up throughout the season. I feel like if they start off super hot and then they hit a rough patch anywhere in the season, might knock them down a bit, and then kind of give up for a division chase for whoever's going to be right there neck and neck, because how the division is. So that'd be some of what Joe was kind of saying, momentum, and then I think health will be a main factor.
Okay. All right. Well, let us get into our Philadelphia Eagles record predictions.
Records, baby.
Hold on.
Are we going games, or are we just doing whole record at once?
We'll go record, and if we need to, of course, provide context to where the heck did you get that from, or y'all want to go over the schedule, we definitely can. Hold on real quick. Let me put that, and put that. All right. So first things first, I'll go first. The Philadelphia Eagles will end the 2025-2026 season at 11-6.
Yeah.
So record-wise, taking a dip, but I think I'll provide context to that if I have to. Cody, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna have the Eagles record when I took a look at their schedule. It's gonna be coming out to 12-5.
Okay. And Joe?
Alrighty, in the sports mailman's prediction for the Philadelphia Eagles of this upcoming season, I'm gonna have them finishing up at 12-5 as well as Cody.
Here we go.
Very
Two
good.
against one.
Now let's talk. Okay, well, I'm not disagreeing with you guys, really. So let's talk about it. When it comes, let's look at their schedule. And we talked off air, and everybody that's in the comments, please, or anybody that's watching, you see what we have out there. Please let us know your thoughts. Real quick, hold on. Brandon, Eagles defensive tackles have yet another year of growing. Yeah, and that could be scary because they're not top of the echelon two guys yet, but Jordan Davis, if he takes another step, they sure will be, dude.
Yeah, because it's crazy to think Jalen Carter is probably already a top 5 defensive tackle already, but I don't even think he scratched the surface of how great he can possibly be.
For sure. He has the potential. So let's go over it. The Philadelphia Eagles, we talked off air, the first 5, 6, 7 games, well, 5 games are pretty rough. I want to know where how do you guys have them starting? Because I have them starting the first 5 games, Dallas at Kansas City, the Rams at Tampa Bay, Denver. I have them starting 2 and 3.
I have them starting 3 and 2.
Okay. So,
Really?
but yeah, again, that's one game off. We all agree that it's kind of a tough 5 games. Now,
Yeah.
Cody, I like what you said just because I'm not going to say I would rather them start off slow, but I think when it comes to the beginning of their schedule, they might start off slow, and that could be a good thing for them. Like I said off air, them going through these 5 games is really going to show how good they still are and what they need to work on quicker and sooner than later. And that's going to be a good for a Super Bowl winning team that's trying to repeat. So I do agree with that. Their bye week is week 9. So I think that's good because, again, if we go 5, 6, then at New York, at Minnesota, New York, at Green Bay. All those 4, the next 4 games, the New York Giant game after the Denver game could get tricky because that's a Thursday night football game. And you had to deal with Denver's pass rush, and then now you got to deal with the Giants on a short week. That can get very tricky. I'm not a Giants guy. Y'all know I'm not. But that could get very, very tricky. So dealing with that and then dealing with the Brian Flores defense at Minnesota, dealing with the Giants again, and then, of course, Green Bay is never a easy game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Having a bye week right after that game, I think it's going to do them justice. When it comes to stretches, what's the highest win streak do y'all have the Eagles going on?
6-game winning streak.
Okay, I got 5.
I think I have I think I would say something like maybe 4 or 5. It's going to be in that kind of area from like Green Bay to the Raiders kind of section.
Okay. Brandon, didn't Eagles come out hot to a 10-1 record after their last Super Bowl visit? Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Their team was stacked. The coordinators was the issue. Once the other teams kind of got a beat on what they're doing, that was when it came down as far as turmoil happened afterwards. Brandon has the first 5 games 4-1,
which is possible. 3 of those games are home games, so
yeah, Brandon, kind of crazy.
So we have at least all of us have them at least winning 2 of the first 5. Which 2 are y'all's?
Yes, y'all are gonna think I'm wild. So the 2 games that I have them winning in the first 5 is Kansas City and Denver, the AFC West.
Okay.
I have them
I have
the first Dallas game.
Yeah, me too.
Well, of course you do. But
so you have them winning what, Joe? The same.
I have them winning against Kansas City, and then I have them losing against the Rams, and then they get back on track. That's whenever they go on their 6-game winning streak.
Y'all don't think Mahomes gonna show up and revenge smoke them?
I think he
It's gonna be
can
re-
for sure,
it's gonna
but
be
I think
revenge
it's
game.
early enough. I think it's
But it's
early enough
early in
where
that
they're
offensive
healthy.
line. Like, how's it going to look? Because it's going to be really young. So hopefully that defense for Philadelphia doesn't like say, we just kicked their ass last couple months ago, and their offensive line more than likely looks a lot horrible on paper now compared to what it was
What, the
last season.
Chiefs?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I disagree. The Chiefs'
it's
offensive
it's
line
I was
young,
about
looks
to
better
say,
than,
y'all were
but it looks
raving
better than
last week
last year.
about their
but
O
it, but
line
but
signing.
it's young. We don't know what it is on paper. That's the thing.
No, right? No, we understand what it is. We don't know what it's going to look like. I agree, but it's still on paper is better than it was on paper last year. That's my main thing. We
I'm
don't know
like
what
you
it's going to
lose.
look like, of
I'm like
course.
you lose Joe Tooney, and your offensive line's better.
I'm not saying it's better, but on paper it's better. They actually have a
Hopefully,
left tackle.
I
And
hope so. I hope Jonathan Simmons
mhm.
turns into what he's supposed to be. If he was healthy, he would have been a top 5 pick. But
Right, and then they added more over there, which is going to help with depth. I think the
yeah,
offensive line isn't going to be good. I don't think that, but I think they possibly improved. And with Joe Tooney, we don't know. Yes, losing Joe Tooney's rough, but same thing when we look at the Los Angeles Rams when they lost Aaron Donald. The defensive line still played fantastic because of the young talent they added around it. So it's
yeah,
not like a plus minus kind of thing. No, I think it'll accumulate to where they play better down the stretch versus what they did last year.
yeah,
That's what I think. But yeah, I think they'll beat Kansas City, Denver. I'm not confident on either one of those. They could actually beat Dallas, the Rams, and Tampa Bay and lose to the two teams I have them beaten. I'm not opposed to that. It's just I just think that they're going to
yeah.
beat Kansas City again. Just how bad they beat them in the Super Bowl. Let's say they don't beat them bad as much. Give them 20 points. They still beat them. So
I would
Yeah,
have
because
Dallas winning the opening game if it was in Dallas, but it's
I feel you.
in
I
Philly,
feel you.
and
I feel
that's
you.
the only reason. I feel like Dallas opening week is their fucking best week. Everybody's believing in the Cowboys. It's usually when it's towards the end that it gets harder for them to beat the Eagles. It feels like.
Yeah. Well, one, I could be completely wrong. I'm banking on Dallas's offense surprising the Eagles defense and catching the young guys slipping because Quinyon Mitchell, whoever Quinyon Mitchell has, I think he's going to have success against that receiver. Let's say he has Pickens. CeeDee Lamb's going to go off. Let's say he has CeeDee Lamb. Pickens is going to go off. The Cooper DeJean is a good nickel corner. He's not taking either one of those guys. I'm so sorry. So he's
Not
not
yet,
taking
at
one.
least.
And then the third corner is definitely not taking any one of those guys. So it's just I think that's what's going to occur. I could be wrong because Dallas has a history of just pooping the bed when guys that aren't fans start believing in something, they poop the bed, and I will never pick them again if they do. If they lose, they lose. But if they get blown out, I'm going to be a kind of upset for saying what I'm saying right now. But yeah, I think Dallas surprises the world in week 1. Guys, not like Joe, but guys that are more irrational than Joe are going to see, I told you this year's going to be different. And then we'll talk about what the Cowboys do.
That'll be annoying, dude.
But the first game is going to really piss a lot of
and
non-Cowboy teams off. Yeah.
and it's crazy. The spread already for that game is 7 points for Philly. So
Yeah,
they're
take it. I'd take it. Even if they lose, I think they cover. So, nonetheless.
Yeah,
right,
Brandon Aubrey field goal, lose by 4 type thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a huge
Yeah, because the last time the Cowboys they started off the season against Tampa, and that game was back and forth. If y'all remember, Cowboys had a chance to win late, and it was a close game. I remember a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Dallas was going to get destroyed by Tampa." Whenever the Buccaneers got their rings opening night, and then this is going to be even more crazy because it's week 1. The Eagles are unveiling their banner. It's a divisional game. You throw everything out the book whenever they play against each other. It doesn't matter if Dak's playing, Jalen's playing. It doesn't matter.
That's the beauty of this game. I can't wait till we actually dive into the game. Finally, Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback opposite of Dak Prescott. Because typically when the Cowboys and Eagles play, one of these guys are out. They're not the quarterback playing for each team. So finally, we're going to see both of these guys on the field playing opposite of each other. And
who's Philly's backup?
Let me see. I could check it out right now.
Because what's his name? They traded Kenny Pickett, right?
Yeah,
or
they did.
released him or
Tanner
whatever?
McKee.
Oh,
Who the
people
fuck is
in
that?
Philly like Tanner McKee, dude. I have
And
no
then
idea why.
they actually have a good like little
You got DTR,
backup.
right?
Where
DTR
he's
and
always been in Philly?
yeah, Tanner's been there for the past couple seasons,
Yeah.
and they even have
Yeah.
Kyle McCord that they drafted out of Syracuse this past season. So they have some guys who can do a little bit.
Yeah, DTR sucks. Sorry, Joe. I'm confused. Maybe Tanner. I'm with you on Tanner. First Eagles. I'm confused. First Eagles versus Cowboys game said this NBC Peacock, but it's
That
on
game was
Thursday.
probably
Shouldn't it be on Amazon?
confused.
It should be on there.
So the beginning of every season, NBC has the rights for that opening Thursday night game year in and year out. Then afterwards, it moves to Amazon Prime.
Tickets versus the Cowboys in Philly starts at 5:28. Tickets versus Cowboys in Dallas start at
What's
67.
week one?
Well,
Philly.
and they're unveiling the banner, like Joe said. It's a more There's going to be stars there that are just going to watch
Bradley
that.
Cooper. There's going to be a bunch of people from Texas over there, so it's going to be Kevin Hart probably running around somewhere.
Kevin Hart's little drunk self is going to be there.
Yeah.
All right, Chi-Town agrees. Cowboys get the dub week 1.
Chi-Town,
hates the Eagles.
Every time I hear him just likes to rock the boat. He loves to rock the boat.
He definitely does. Okay, well, we're all similar on the Philadelphia Eagles record. So let's just move on from them. The team that finished second that surprised everybody, other than Jalen, was the Washington Commanders. Now, Washington, if we look at their last year, Joe, you kind of hit the nail on the head. They took everybody by surprise. Nobody expected what they got. Nobody expected Jaden Daniels to come out as hot as he was. Myself, I didn't expect Jaden Daniels to stay as hot as he was. Y'all heard me multiple weeks in a row like, well, they haven't played anybody. And I will say, I'm still right on that. As far as teams they beat last year, if I'm not mistaken, they beat one playoff team.
Let me check.
Yeah. Let me not disrespect them. And let's see. So they beat the Giants, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Panthers, the Bears, the Giants, the Titans, the Saints, the Eagles when Jalen Hurts went out, Atlanta Falcons, Dallas. So, again, other than playoffs, they beat one playoff team.
It's the Eagles. I think that was the game that
that was when Jalen Hurts went out. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. And they barely beat him. And when Dallas, let me make sure I'm not wrong. When Dallas didn't have Dak, they lost to y'all, which is actually hilarious. They lost to, I don't know if it was Cooper Rush. Was it Cooper Rush, right?
Yeah, Cooper Rush. And then the last game, they actually beat us in Jerry's World. That game was really close as well. He should have lost both of those games. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, listen, all the Washington fans out there, well, there's only one that I know. I'm not hating, and it seems like we're going to be hating because last year I hated, and now here comes this year. They overexceeded almost everybody's expectations. I'll say the popular majority's expectations, including mine, and they deserve credit for that. Jaden Daniels, I think, is a fine prospect. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to have this sophomore slump whatsoever, and I think, we can't predict all these things, but what they done on offense solidifies that, like helping with the offensive line. Cosme's coming back healthy, bringing Tunsil over there. Sure, penalties might be a thing, but as a pass blocking tackle, top 3, top 4 in the game, there's not a lot of weak points on this offense looking at it again on paper right now. I will say last year, defensively, they were very inconsistent. I think we can give grace just because, nobody expected the defense to even be good at all. Dan Quinn goes over there and makes the defense look as good as possible, as competent as possible, especially with that linebacking core. They bring back the linebacking core. The pass rush it wasn't great. The run defense was actually bad, but the secondary played well. But again, what I would push back on that take is they didn't play anybody. You didn't play a top of the echelon kind of passing guy. Again, when they beat Cincinnati, I'll give them credit on that. They beat Cincinnati. That was very surprising. They didn't make the playoffs, but that was a good win for them.
So I was looking at their schedule from last year. So 8 out of their 12 wins was a score less win out of the 12. So those 8 games could have went to the other side. So think about it, how close their games were. Even some of their losses were close as well. So a lot of these games, it was really close. So can they continue that magic? Does JD5 possibly have a sophomore slump, or can he shake it off and not, what historically happens to second-year quarterbacks whenever they have a good rookie year?
Yeah. There are some quarterbacks that, started off as a rookie and had great second years. Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks also that are on the opposite side. Because I've heard a lot of narratives like comparing Jaden Daniels to CJ Stroud. Cody, you've heard me say it. One, you can't put that last year all completely on CJ Stroud. You can't say, he pooped the bed and he played worse than he did last year. Again, arguably he played better. He just had worse circumstances against him. Jaden Daniels, I don't think has worse circumstances against him. They dealt with the offensive line, which wasn't a huge issue last year, but they overplayed what they were really dealt with. They got more healthy. Again, you added a left tackle. You added another weapon in Deebo Samuel. We don't know what the heck Deebo Samuel is going to be, but nonetheless, I think it's a plus. Still a plus. I think it's still a plus.
Donut Samuels.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what he's looking like. As the last time I saw him, that was weeks back, so hopefully he's changed that up. Now, when it comes to the offseason, guys, what did you like? What did you dislike? Talk to me about the Washington Commanders offseason.
I didn't like that they didn't address their pass rushing needs and their linebacking core and stuff like that. Like their secondary, it's young, but I just feel like their front, they needed to build on that. You bring in Von Miller. What is he going to do? If this was 5 years ago, hell yeah, rah. But, Von Miller hasn't played a full season, I think, past 2.5 years. He hasn't been himself. You bring in Bobby Wagner as well last season. He's continuing to prove everybody wrong.
Okay.
Good. But where are they going to get this pass rush from? Because you're going to need it because, Dallas and Philly are going to be able to put up points, I think. And then, the Giants, you don't know how they're going to be. But offensively, the Giants have, Neighbors and a couple other guys that can catch the ball. So you're going to need some guys that can rush the quarterback and get the quarterback, the ball to the quarterback's hands. Do they have that? I don't know. And, hopefully JD5 can continue his stellar play so he can keep his defense off the field and he can keep it on the offense on the field to score points.
What do you think, Cody, about the offseason and everything in general?
Yeah, I agree with Joe. And also the fact that they didn't do that is just going to expose their secondary more. I feel like that was a big problem last year with their defense not being able to apply much pressure at all. Their secondary just got torched every game. It didn't matter if it was against a good team or the bad teams. Even the bad teams would score a lot. And it just felt like any deep ball was thrown, it was always turned into 50 yards or something against them. Had Jaden Daniels in the offense have to always try to pull something out crazy. So if they don't fix that this season through play, they're going to have a lot of those problems again and might get exposed even more.
Yeah, I can see it. Real quick, Chi-Town. Setback for Washington, I'm calling it. Well, I called it first. All right.
Ooh.
Well, maybe somebody else called it first, actually.
Ooh.
Okay, Ungton stepped it up. I'm going to have to get you. Please give me a Patriots helmet. That would be so great. I would appreciate that.
Expensive, bro. They're so expensive.
That's why I'm not getting one. I'm not that big of a fan. All right.
Look, we'll just get you like a regular silver helmet, and then we'll find the sticker, and boom.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah. Do it. Give me. Hey, kinfolk, just give me the little plastic one. I don't need a real one, dude. Just give me a little
you
fake
want
one
like
in
the
back.
Brady era helmets though, right? With like the sparkle
sure.
and the silver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
the
be
sparkle
a Brady
on it.
era, right?
Yeah.
I
I don't know why they left those helmets. Those helmets were their best.
A lot of teams do that. I don't know what
I don't
the
even know why
consensus is, or
yeah, like how they changed up y'all's jerseys a little bit with the little stripes now on it. I'm like,
hey, our retro jersey. There's a lot of retro jerseys out there that are absolutely dog poop, right? Luckily, we don't have that.
We need to do
love
it.
our retro
We
jerseys
need to do a
so
ranking
much.
some days, like ranking the best retro jerseys in all of football.
Okay, that would be good. Cody don't have a retro jersey.
Yeah, the Oilers are top 5.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I was like,
It's
Texas
Tennessee
don't have it.
Titans.
The baby blues
They're nice. Yeah,
they're
I'm with
nice.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah, if they're for the Tennessee Titans, yeah.
Okay, he's
Yeah.
gonna keep going. All right. I don't agree with him, dude. When it comes to what they lost this offseason, they lose Jonathan Allen, that's been there for years, to Minnesota, which I can't wait to talk about the NFC North. That's going to be wild. And then they replace him with a guy in Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah, Kinlaw.
They're not the same player. They're not. They're not the same player. They don't have the same strengths. Kinlaw has much more weaknesses. Don't get me wrong. Jonathan Allen wasn't playing at the all-pro level that we have been accustomed to see him playing at. But still, he was still a better option than Javon Kinlaw. Also, you lose Jeremy Chin, and you don't really replace him. They kind of replaced him with Will Harris from New Orleans. It could be a wash if you get the best out of Will Harris, but I think Jeremy Chin played well for you. Your best pass rusher last year was Dante Fowler Jr., obviously, that you got from Dallas. You gave him back to Dallas. Now, don't get me wrong. We'll talk about Dallas. I think there's a reason why you just regurgitated him back to Dallas. But still, you didn't add any pass rushing weaponry. You added Dietrich Weiss from us. Good luck.
And run stopping. They were like 30th in the league in run stopping last year.
They did absolutely nothing to address that. I don't. Right. When it comes to the NFC East, I think honestly, just other than the Eagles possibly, everybody can't stop the run on the NFC East. All right. Run the ball if you got an NFC East team, because none of them addressed it. They just said, you know what? Forget it. All of us can't stop the run.
Like, let's just rush the quarterback. Let's just rush the quarterback.
Let's all just get a bunch of pass rushers. That's what we'll do. You saw Dallas get away with it. Let's do it. Everybody else.
That's what the games come to anyway when we think about it. Like, it's just absurd. Pass rushing majority of the
and you see, I agree. But you see the teams that actually went, like the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, they didn't have a great pass rush. But guess what? They stuffed the run consistently. People that passed that's why with the Tennessee Titan little take from last year, they were the least thrown on team, so they allowed the least amount of yards, right? Or second. The first least amount of yards allowed was the Eagles, and they were middle of the pack. People were still passing the ball on them, but they couldn't get anywhere with it. So that's more impressive for me. But they didn't address the pass rush. The secondary, in my opinion, got weaker and older. You added Jonathan Jones. Lattimore hasn't been Lattimore in the last 2-3 years. He hasn't been healthy either. So even if he comes back healthy, we don't know what we're going to get out of Lattimore. We all can agree Marshawn Lattimore in his prime is, yes, that would be a great pickup for them. But last year when he was playing, he got sliced and diced anytime they took advantage, especially in the Philly game, sliced and diced them. I don't see anything changing because, like Cody said, with your secondary being a question mark and not having a pass rush, that is a bad recipe. And that is a recipe for disaster when it comes to y'all overachieving last year. And then this year, even if your offense plays better, guess what? You could still lose. Yeah, that's clean right there, huh?
No, I don't know if you can see the price, but
you can't.
160 off Amazon.
160 off Amazon, Kim folk. Hope you're still here. Buy it for me, please. Please.
Like birthday present, Christmas present.
Please. But okay, with Washington, that's about it. When it comes to the offseason, y'all want to add anything before I go into my triple O, triple P?
No, it's just the Scary Terry stuff. That is huge. Hopefully they get him in, back in the training camp ASAP, because they need to continue that chemistry with him and JD5. That is detrimental to their offense, to their whole team as a whole, because I feel as their offense goes, it's going to help them with their defense. If they're able to score points, well, it's going to be able to not make the defense have to be like, all right, we got to stop. We got to make a play. We got to get an interception. So I feel like that is the main key thing for Washington until the start of the season. Get Scary Terry back on the field. Get 17 back on the field.
Okay. Cody, you got anything? You want me to go?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, when it comes to Washington's optimistic optimal outcome, I would say Jaden Daniels takes another. He could stay like this, but he takes a little bit of a leap. Let's just say a little bit of a leap, or he stays exactly what he played last year. The addition of Deebo Samuel adds a dual threat in the running game and the short yardage plays. Scary Terry out. Everything is with Scary Terry on the team. If Scary Terry, like, they trade him or something weird, none of this applies to Washington. Scary Terry takes another leap. Instead of getting 1,000, he gets 1,200, 1,300 yards, gets his touchdowns to stay at 10 plus. The defense, even though we all agree that, at least on paper, they don't look that good. Again, secondary is weak, pass rush is weak. And with both of those being said, like you said, Cody, against the run, they were pretty freaking bad. We all know Deron Payne, he's a dog, but last 2 years, he has not played like that. So, but all that being said, again, being optimistic, all that comes around because of scheme. Dan Quinn coaches up the guys, and the team over exceeds expectations on defense again, making the move to win the same amount of games or more. Because if Jaden Daniels takes another step, that's when this team can really become one of those tricky NFC teams that, again, even though we saw last year them over exceed, we can see again next year them over exceed again. That's about it for them. Pessimistic potential problems, I wanted to say this one for sure, is their nice little Cinderella story last year ends up, taking a nosedive, and all of that was just for last year. Jaden Daniels stays the same. They start losing in multiple games. They start blaming Jaden Daniels when it's not Jaden Daniels' fault. Starts hinting his progression as a player. Laremy Tunsil starts having he's a cancer in the locker room, like other people say he is. Defensively, they can't get anything together. A couple injuries happen because their defense is one of the oldest defense in the NFL league. And it all just hits the fan, and they finish last in the division. Worst case scenario. This team, it can go from I'm not predicting the record, but 11-6, 12-5. But this team could take a huge fall where they can become incompetent when it comes to how it looks on television. We could all probably understand what's happening, but on television, it can look like, what happened to the Washington Commanders? That's my take on them.
I think that was a great point of how you said, if it does nosedive, the media and all that is going to act like it's Jaden Daniels' fault. Yep. And it very much so, too, if Scary Terry does not play, having Deebo Samuel as his wide receiver one will be detrimental to Jaden Daniels' growth as a player in the locker room, everything. I just see that ending so bad. Scary Terry, please save your team again, even if they don't give your backup. If they don't, then leave. But play, or Jaden Daniels gonna have a bad season.
Got anything to add there before we get into predictions?
No, it's just Scary Terry is the key for them.
All right. Let's get into our Washington Commander prediction. Before we do that, Cowboys cooked. Nice cut, though. All right. Joe appreciates that. I have no idea, but
I don't know what that is.
I see the YouTube. If you're not subscribed, all right, please subscribe. It'll help.
Because we need Milton to sleep.
Yep. You heard it there first, dude. Okay, please. If you care about anybody. All right, when it comes to Washington Commanders, Milton, Cody, what do y'all think not record-wise, how I go with the triple O, triple P, what do you think the best possible outcome? Like, where do you? Let me not. How do I say this?
What's the ceiling and what's the floor?
Not that. Nah. What can present the best case scenario for Washington? When I say that, like how you said, Scary Terry is the main benefactor. What about him? What, like, something? Give me something.
The other thing that they're banking on big time is Laramie Tunsil solving his problems that he's had. Like, with the skill set he has, he could be a top 5, top 10 guy at his position. But over the past couple of years, he just can't contain himself from getting penalties. If he could stop that, that could make this team, in contention once again for the NFC.
Okay.
With his skill set, he should be the best tackle in the league.
He should be.
Well, top 2. Trent Williams, come on.
Yeah, no, with the factor in of his age versus Trent.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's good.
He would be number 1 if he fucking, I don't know what's wrong with that dude, bro.
It's because he left Miami, bro, and he can't put on a gas mask all the time, I guess.
That's funny. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Well, Washington Commanders, way too early prediction. I got the Washington Commanders finishing their 2025-2026 season at a whopping 9-8.
Okay. Not too bad.
Okay.
Not too disrespectful, right?
Alrighty.
Joe and then Cody. Go ahead.
Alrighty. The Sports Mailman's Washington Commanders prediction for this upcoming season, I have them finishing at 10-7.
Okay, a little more high hopes. Cody, go ahead, brother.
Okay, and then for my record for the Washington Commanders, I got them a step above both of y'all at 11-6.
Okay.
So what did you have Philadelphia as again?
At 12-5.
12-5.
Okay.
So I think neck and neck, and then the other two neck and neck, but polar opposite.
Well, this is gonna get interesting. This is gonna get interesting. I could go with that. Some regression. I think it does.
Possible. Yeah.
But let me ask you, Cody, why do you think they finish so high? When I say so high, I just, it's one game off. Their schedule is more difficult than it was last year, at least on paper right now. All these other teams can, whatever. What gives you confidence for Washington?
When I looked at their schedule, I don't even think it's going to be that crazy. Yeah, I think they're going to have some hard-fought games, but I also think that there's going to be a lot of games that they're actually going to be able to win pretty easy. And this is, like we said, all being that everybody on the team shows up. If Scary Terry's not there, of course not. And I just think with the small additions they made on their offense can be very potent. They're going to be high-scoring offense. And I think a lot of the NFC teams that they're facing aren't always high scoring like that as much. So, like the Giants, the Giants ain't going to be putting up no points. Yeah, the Giants can have good defense, going to pressure them a lot. You score 20 points, you're going to beat the Giants. They got Raiders, Falcons. They should take those teams out. Chargers ain't going to do much this year. Let's be honest, right? We need to slow down on the Charger hype. I'm definitely taking Commanders over that. Then you got Bears. So that's like a good 4 games right there. They're going to have a 4-game winning streak. I think they're going to be pretty good to start the season. I would say their first 7 games, 1, 2. I think they could win 5 of them.
Yeah, I agree. So if we keep going, the first 7 games, Giants at Green Bay, Las Vegas, at Atlanta, at Chargers, Chicago, at Dallas.
Right.
I have them also going 5-2.
Right.
So you see now where I'm.
Yeah, I have them at 5-2 as well.
Right. So
wait. So what game?
Say it again.
What game did you stop it at?
To all the way to Dallas. So the first 7 games.
Yeah, I have them at 5-2.
Yeah, likewise. So we're all on the same page on how they start the season. We are all on. I mean, the games might be different, but we're all on the same page on the record for how they start the season. How they finish the season, however, is where I am reluctant. Only reason being is because the teams, not all, the teams that can establish the run early, I think are going to beat this team. Like how you said Las Vegas, they're going to beat. I don't think that. I think Las Vegas is not that good. But I think
What
Las
about-
Vegas will be able to run the ball straight down Washington.
All right, what about Denver then?
Denver
running where?
Well, Denver has two running backs, two new running backs. J.K. Dobbins played very well. He just got hurt.
We're gonna see how that turns out.
Right.
We'll
and then
see if
RJ
he's
Harvey is
playing
one
even
of
at
the
week 12 or whatever.
RJ Harvey's a highly touted guy that Sean
Yeah.
Payton strictly wanted. And we know what Sean Payton does with running backs that he likes. Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush, Alvin Kamara.
We'll see.
We've seen all that. So again, if Sean Payton is cooking up what he has done in the past, but just a different flavor in the Denver Broncos, yeah, I think you're highly mistaken on the Denver's run
I think
game.
like teams like the Lions gonna take a step back. So I think that's definitely.
I think they beat Detroit. Yep.
Let me check to see where that game's at and if it's a Monday night or I have a feeling that game will
Detroit,
probably
it's
be
at
like
Washington.
Yeah, let me see if it's a primetime game.
But yeah, it's
Because-
just with Washington, I think their defense is going to be a liability towards especially the end of the season. Hence why I have them starting.
They're actually favored in that game against Detroit, 1.5.
I believe they're home. Yeah,
I think after the game against the Cowboys, when they play the Chiefs, they lose that game against the Chiefs, and then I think they go on another 4-game win streak. I think they beat the Seahawks, Lions, of course the Dolphins, and then the Broncos.
Okay. Yeah, I just so y'all know the teams I have them losing to: the Las Vegas Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City, Seattle, Denver, Giants once, Philly twice.
I have them losing. I have them losing to the Falcons, Chargers, Chiefs, Denver, Detroit, Philly, and Dallas.
Okay.
I
think Philly will
Dallas
sweep.
once or Dallas sweep.
Let me see. It's a split.
Split, okay.
Okay, that's actually surprising coming from you. All right.
I was waiting on it. I wanted them to say
Because you can make the point from last year. You can make the point. Yeah.
Nah, I just feel like these with the top 3 teams. I think it's going to be really tough in that top end of the division.
I think at the end, though, when they play Philly twice in 3 weeks, I think they'll probably split because I think both of them are going to be fighting for the number 1 seed in the division.
Y'all think more highly of Washington than I do. Okay, gotcha. Y'all are much more high on Washington. I am not. Okay.
But do you have it a 9-8 squeaking into the playoffs then, or no?
No.
When you're looking at it right now, so they'll miss the playoffs.
Yep,
So
correct.
then hot take right now, fellas. Milton saying the Washington Commanders will miss the playoffs.
Yes.
Usually every season it's about like 3 different teams that make the playoffs that didn't make it the year before. So
because I've been seeing some of these previews. Sorry, Cody. I've been seeing some of these previews and all of the playoff teams that people are having are there's only one off team. It's like that's lazy. What do you mean? That's not how this works. You have to. But go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
I will say that for Washington's record, I'm not very concrete about. It's one of the few teams I feel like has a big flux, like you were saying, Milton, where they could perform over expectation or really under, and it's really hard to call for them.
I agree. I do agree. Like if they go 10-7, like Joe says, or they go 11-6, like you said, again, the best case scenario that I laid out happened,
right?
And it could happen. I was being a little facetious on how I was talking about it. That's just because I have the record as what it is. But yeah, I can see it. I don't think they're a terrible team. I don't think any of that. I really do like Jaden Daniels, and again, I do not. No matter what my record says, and I do think they'll take a step back and miss the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be because of Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a MVP candidate possibly this upcoming year. A candidate like number 6 or 7, not like a top
He's
guy.
definitely set for a future stardom in the NFL, being a premier quarterback coming.
For sure. He proved me wrong a lot last year, even though, again, my main point, it was against bad teams, which still reigns true. Still, even so, against some of those bad teams, I didn't plan on him playing that well. So, I give him credit, and I think he'll actually play better this year than last year. But I think the team overall will not have the success that they had last year. All right, let's get into your boys. Dallas Cowboys last year, very disappointing year. But I must say, without Dak Prescott, y'all even winning 4 games, pretty impressive. Got to give you it.
I was mad.
I know you were. Yeah. He couldn't even tank.
I was like, what are we doing? We can't even tank right. I was
Yeah. That's fair. It's all good. Same. I mean, well, we got Drake May, but still, like, we could have tanked worse than we did year before last year and even last year. But that's not what winning cultures do, Joe. All right.
No.
We don't know how to lose.
Y'all finally won a game at the end of the season when you were supposed to lose. Y'all went from the first pick to like the third or fourth pick, and then you got a coach fired for winning a game.
Yep. Well, he got himself fired because he sucked. Yeah. Should have never got the position. Real quick for Patriots stuff. Patriots fans all around the world. If there's how they said, it was in a contract, like, okay, once Bill Belichick stops coaching, you're going to be next up. That is the stupidest thing in the world. You don't know what the layout is. You don't know what coaches are available. You don't know who makes the most sense. You're just saying he's going to get it because he might give us Bill Belichick vibes. But that's what the Spurs did.
The Spurs did that with Mitch Johnson.
And Mitch Johnson isn't Greg Popovich. Sorry. Sorry to tell you, dude. Right. That's not how it works. And I bet you're going to have to see that too, dude, unfortunately. You go for the best option, and Mike Vrabel was available. Guess what? We said, Gerard, get the hell out of here, dude. Nice to know you. Here's your money. Here's your pension. All right. Dallas Cowboys. Again, last year was disappointing. When it comes to last year, Joe, I'll let you talk about everything that you got from last year on the field, off the field, just last year. Go ahead.
So everything that could go wrong went wrong last season.
Yep.
So a healthy Dak coming in the season, he looks shredded. So he looks like he's in shape for once in the past couple of years. He's not eating food and going crazy like he's been in the past. The additions, George Pickens, Jerry Jones finally woke up and said, "Let me make a move."
Quick. Time out. I'll let you go, but what you saw last year?
Oh, last season, yeah. I was actually surprised from the run game. And you let that guy go. Rico Dowdle had over 1,000+ yards. Whenever you think about it, if you can tell me if he made 1,000 yards, I bet you 100 people out of 99 would probably say no chance he got 1,000 yards. There were little bright spots last season. You saw some guys step up. Overshown, unfortunately, got hurt, but you saw the glimpses of what he could be healthy. You saw Kevontae Turpin turn into a specialist. You've seen some guys take the next step in the future. But unfortunately, some of our top guys were hurt. Dak, got hurt. Trayvon Diggs was hurt as well. Deron Bland was hurt majority of the season. So a lot of those guys are coming back healthy. So now what do we do in the process? And unfortunately, we did lose 2 key guys, to one retirement, one we let them walk. So it's a new era, in Dallas.
Okay. Well, with the offseason, like you said, you let a couple of people walk. DeMarcus Lawrence, Jordan Lewis, Brandon Cooks, Chauncey Goldston, Zach Martin obviously retired. Yeah, that's no shade on y'all. When it comes to the offseason, you know what you lost. Now talk to me about the draft and what you gained.
So you draft Tyler Booker, a guard at 12. I believe that was their pick. You probably could have got him later in the draft if you moved back, but I like what they've been doing the past couple of seasons. They've been drafting linemen again like they did years prior whenever they built that young, good offensive line. Hopefully he could turn into that. That is probably one of their biggest what-ifs this season. How is this offensive line going to look, especially with the revamped running back room that they got? They got a Blue out of the draft. They got Miles Sanders out of free agency and Javonte Williams. So hopefully they're able to run the ball, smash mouth, and that's what they're looking to do this upcoming season, to take a little leverage, off of Dak, this upcoming season, just not trying to have him throw the ball like 50, 60 times a game.
Now, when it comes to Javonte Williams' addition, what do you think, like obviously Jaden Blue in the draft, what do you think this running game has to offer this year compared to last year? Because when it came to running back by committee, that was the conversation last year.
It was Rico Dowdle. It was Rico Dowdle, the corpse of Zeke Elliott, and a guy you could find off the street at running back 3. So at least this year, hopefully, if healthy, can be a more competent running back room. So we're going to just have to wait and see. Hopefully Jaden Blue takes the reins of being running back 1 later on in the season. But hopefully Javonte and Miles Sanders have a little bit of gas in the tank to show little glimpses of what they used to be.
Okay. Now, also part of your additions this offseason was coaching. You,
Yeah.
Mike Zimmer walks good. I
Thank
said
you.
I didn't have promising. I said, okay, Mike Zimmer did this, but he was old school
Yeah.
and he stayed old school. You bring over Matt Eberflus, which can be a positive, and people forget, like people remember Matt Eberflus, well, especially casuals, and I understand
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus as the head coach, not
Yeah.
knowing time management and all of these things, which is 100% true. I agree. But when it comes to his defensive mind, the only reason why he stayed last year was because of how that defense played. That's
Yeah.
the only reason why he was there last year. Now, you bring in Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator. What do you think about that? What do you think it does for your defense overall?
I feel like you get a stability, kind of what you haven't had since you lost Dan Quinn. So hopefully he's able to step in, and I feel like him bringing a lot of guys who were kind of off the heap, like Kenneth Murray, Kara Elam out of Buffalo. Some of these guys that at one time were looked at as possibly top level players, and I feel like he can get them back on track and get something out of them. What I'm thinking is going to happen is what happened a couple years ago when this front was just wrecking people with the NASCAR defense that they're running. They picked up Ezraku in the draft, who should have been in the first round. To get him in the second round was crazy. Sam Williams coming back off of injury, Nealon coming off of injury. So you have a lot of guys, young guys, who are going to come into the fold. Hopefully, it can step up. And then you have as well. Who am I missing here as well? Williams, Nealon. Yeah, so just a bunch of guys that are young, and then Dante Fowler as well, who comes back again. For some reason he keeps getting 10 plus sacks every other year. I don't know how that's even happening.
Yeah,
but
wait, when you get specialists, that's what we were
yeah,
talking about with Philly. Like when you bring over specialists, that's all they do. Like Dante Fowler Jr. is a liability when it comes to the run game.
yeah,
But if you tell him that, hey, go get the quarterback, and it's going to be a passing play, that's where he shines. I think
yeah,
it's a good addition for sure. Now, when it comes to your pass rush, of course, your pass rush the last couple of years, even with injuries included, your pass rush has been a top echelon pass rush. Like, sure,
yeah,
it wasn't like the year prior where y'all were just wrecking havoc for sure.
yeah.
If that is so, let's say that does best case scenario, your pass rush becomes a top 3, top 4 unit in the NFL as far as just production concerned. Yet that has never been the Dallas Cowboys Achilles heel on defense. Let's just stay on defense.
Oh yeah, for
When
sure.
it comes to run stoppability, now Matt Eberflus, yes, I believe that he can get the best out of your linebacking core for sure. That's what he came in the NFL as a linebacker coach. Obviously, that's why when he went to Chicago, he said, "Give me Edmonds, give me TJ Edwards. I need these two guys," and that obviously that was successful for him for a bit as far as defensively speaking. Now, Kenneth Murray Jr., athletic, just pure athleticism, yes, but production he hasn't done. And like you said,
No.
That's the what if, but that's not a huge signing in my opinion. Sanborn is because that's Eberflus guy from Chicago, so
Yeah.
I think that's a positive for y'all. Look, with stopping the run, why is this year different?
I don't say so much it's different. I'm just going by what they've shown in the past. Is like, yeah, they're gonna give up the running yards and they're gonna say screw it. But as long as we get to the quarterback and we're scoring points, because I feel like this offense is ready to go now, and they're saying like, all right, well, if I put up 35 plus points, well, the other team's gonna have to throw the ball in the process. So what are the other side of the defense gonna do? They're gonna rush the passer, and that is detriment to the offense because you have 11 from heaven. Hopefully they get everything solved.
Yeah.
He's showing up, so I give him that. So that's the one thing to me that I think, like in years past, like they haven't been able to stop the run, but they're still getting 11, 12 plus wins.
That's true. I think, yeah, that's true though. I can't refute that. As a defense coordinator, is pretty solid. That's Matt Eberflus, of course.
Yeah, so that's what I've been saying whenever me and other people talked about like, oh, well, y'all can't stop the run. I'm like, yeah, but in the regular season, that's not the thing we worry about. It's in the postseason. whenever it comes to bite us in the butt.
Right. And don't you think that's when it comes to like record predictions, that's good evidence for you to, be able to defend your claim on whatever record you're about to give us, right? Especially if it's a good record. That's good. But as a Cowboy fan, don't you want to win some playoff games? And that's going to be the issue?
Yeah, I do. And that's the thing. Like I tell people, I'm like, I don't worry about them making the playoffs. I feel with Dak healthy, year in and year out, if he's healthy and they have a competent offense, they're going to make the playoffs. But then when it gets to the postseason, everything just seems to fall off the rails for some reason.
All right, one more thing. When it comes to that point, Dak being healthy, and typically you're right, but last year he didn't play well in the beginning of the season. He actually played pretty bad. I think it was it was like 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, something like that. Not a good touchdown interception ratio. Y'all went 3-5 with him healthy.
It was probably. Oh, my bad. No, I was just going to say it was probably like one of the worst offenses since Dak has been in Dallas last season. CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson was their second best pass catcher. Then Rico Dotto was your running back 1. So I was just like, bro, like you're expecting so much out of him. Like, is he like upper echelon quarterback, like top 3, top 4?
Right.
Probably not.
I think they tried to make that pay make sense.
Yeah.
And of course, you're trying to make it make sense, but do you want to win or not? And to credit the Dallas Cowboys, bringing over George Pickens, I think in the media, he deserves the rep he gets because he does it. He's a walking meme. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I do think it's somewhat unfair to project that on him in Dallas Cowboys. It's a whole new organization he's a part of. He actually has another wide receiver that's quote unquote better than him. Again, with talent for talent, I'm not going to compare, but production, it ain't even a conversation. We already know who's number 1, right? You're in an organization that is going to feed the offense versus Pittsburgh, where it was like, I don't even know who the quarterback is, dude. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense was so inconsistent. I do think Dak Prescott, unless last year, I give you every point that you made, but if that showed a glimpse of if Dak Prescott might not be, if that's showing that, then it's going to be a rough little outing for you. Now, when it comes to, I'll give it right back to you. When it comes to my pessimistic potential problems for the Dallas Cowboys of the 2025-2026 year is the rushing game. No consistency, stays flat. That's not going to be good for you. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, I'll talk about that. Pickens becomes a problem if y'all start losing games and not feeding targets to Pickens.
Right.
That's going to be an issue. And it. Again, I think Pickens is unfairly being judged in a new system that he didn't do anything yet. So it's a new year. Leave it at that. You can bring up the pass or whatever, but don't project that on him for now. This is a whole new system. Also, the run defense. I'm consistent with this. The run defense doesn't improve. If the run defense doesn't improve, sure, you get a couple wins because the pass rush is good and you're scoring 35 plus points. But eventually, again, you're going to get some of these teams that have good secondaries that are just going to say, okay, we're just going to man-to-man. We'll see what happens. And you're not going to run the ball. So I think against the good teams that you actually have on your schedule, you could lose a lot of those games if your run defense does not improve from the last couple of years. Not saying to be a top unit. Not saying that. Just improve from what it has been the last couple of years. Now, my optimal outcome is the offense is top 5 in passing stats, all passing stats across the board. The pass rush is better and enters, I said it earlier, top 3 potential as far as overall pass rushing stats. Bland and Diggs stay disciplined. All those, that too. If they stay disciplined under a Matt Eberflus defense, like a Jalen Johnson, a Stevenson, those kind of guys, that can be good because with them, yes, it's a high risk, high reward. I'm sorry. Watching Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, I don't think they're top corners individually, just looking at how they play. There's reasons why, and don't get me wrong, it bit a lot of quarterbacks in the behind. There's a reason why that people target Bland as much as they do. You see the other corners, they don't, Stingley, Surtain, Sauce, they don't get targeted that much because like, I don't want to risk it. I don't know. They will, but they don't get targeted as much as a Bland, a Diggs. But yes, health is also part of that. The young O-line takes a step because I don't think your offensive line is great, but I don't think it's as bad as people are projecting it to be. I think it's a young, talented offensive line that's good with the run. You just need the key running backs. It's the pass blocking against the top defensive lines that's going to be the interesting thing to watch. And one more thing, Williams goes back to the how do I say this? I don't know.
Sam Williams?
Yes. Sam Williams goes back to what we projected kind of him to be. Him, and also you brought over Houston from Detroit.
Yeah.
His rookie year, we thought Houston was going to be the next thing next to Aiden Hutchinson, right?
Him and Hutchinson, and then they let him go. I was like, what's going on?
So if all that coincides, then I think the most optimistic record is going to be for the Dallas Cowboys. Do you disagree with anything, and do you want to add anything before we go into?
No, and then another thing I want to they hit very well on their draft, the needs that they got some guys in the interior, and then they got Javon Revno from Eastern Carolina. If he was not hurt this past season, he would have been a first-round draft pick, cornerback out of the third round, East Carolina. So once he gets healthy, he might be creeping up in the top 2 cornerback positions out of Diggs and Bland because he's that good. It was just he was hurt this past season. He's working back from an injury. So once he gets back, gets healthy, whenever you look at the tape of him, you see why he was regarded so highly. It was just he was coming off an ACL tear, and he was still taken in the third round.
Real quick, Cody.
Yeah, I do want to say something.
Please.
You made a point earlier, Joe. You said about how he had what's your running back's name again?
Sanders, Williams, or Blue?
No, the dude last year.
Dowdle.
Yeah. You said how he got 1,000 yards, and that you like your new pieces that y'all got at running back, and you want to see them be consistent. I actually disagree with that. I don't think it will be beneficiary to your offense to do that rushing. I feel that rushing was only needed because Dak went down, of course, and the offense passing game kind of halted a little bit. So I feel like this year, if that happens and y'all lean more towards run, will actually be negative effect, especially with you got Pickens. CD is going to want his standards, and then Pickens is going to come in demanding more as well. I feel it's going to be less chance to actually use your running game. And I feel like that they're going to have to lean more towards almost Dak having a MVP caliber season in order to make the playoffs, I feel like.
With that, I just need them to be consistent. I'm not saying they need to go out and rush for 150 plus yards a game. I just want them to show that the running game is there as a threat. I don't want them to just be like, oh, well, Dak's going to throw 50 plus times because the running back room is not on level with other running back levels. I just want them to show like, all right, well, we have Blue, Williams, and Sanders. There's guys that, okay, I can hand them off 15, 20 times sporadic throughout all 3 of them. And if they get between 80 to 100 yards combined, that's great because then that makes it where Dak doesn't have to make a read to throw into coverage or look in other ways and possibly get hurt because he gets hit.
Do you want to see about a 20 rushes a game type thing?
Yeah. I just want them to show that they're running the ball. Like, don't abandon it. I'm not saying you have to run the ball like so heavily. What I want them to do is make it seem like it's there, to make it seem like, all right, well, if I'm doing a play action, I can dump it off to Blue, or, oh, I'm going to throw a fake screen out to the left, and I'm going to just ditch it out to the running back up the middle.
Okay. Just so you don't look one-dimensional.
Yep. Well,
Sorry.
and not even the look, but Dak Prescott historically played his best ball when the play action pass was going.
Yeah,
When
if that can come back, to form, that's going to be really dangerous because CD and George Pickens out there, like, oh shoot, we thought there was a run, and then you have one-on-one coverage outside.
yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
That's the thing with that offense. It can be so dynamic that it throws a lot of Cowboy haters off, and
Yeah.
it'll piss a lot of people off because
Be-
having a guy, we already know what CD's capable of. Having a guy in Pickens, that's just going to make everything better. It's going to make Dak better. It's going to make CD better. It's going to make Pickens better. It's an all-win scenario again,
All over the
unless
place.
my worst-case scenario happens, of course.
Yeah.
So, okay, let us get into our Dallas Cowboys way too early predictions. I'll start us off, then Joe, then Cody. I got the Dallas Cowboys finishing the 2025-2026 season at a great 9-8.
Okay, so yeah, both teams finishing 9-8.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So I'm guessing we're only gonna have one playoff team out of this division, from what
Yep.
you're saying.
You guessed
Okay.
right, my brother. Go ahead,
Alrighty.
Joe.
All right, the Sports Mailman's Dallas Cowboys prediction for this upcoming season is a whopping 11-6.
Man, it's okay. Okay, Cody, what you think?
All right, my Cowboys record prediction is that they're gonna go a nice, cool 7-10.
All right, we gotta talk. We gotta talk in points. Let's do
I'm like,
it.
it's either 11-6 for me or 7-10, like how Cody is. That's the ceiling for me.
Wait, so when you say that, do you mean it's either y'all will go 11-6,
Either we're gonna do
or
really good or we're gonna be competitive a lot of games and we're gonna lose
those?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that's for the last team that we're gonna talk about.
I
That's what
think they're gonna have a lot of close games this year.
Yeah.
Like one-score games, and I think they're just gonna drop a few more than they would take. You know what I mean?
So with me, they start off 3-0 and everybody gets on the hype train, and then of course, a ghost from their past shows up again, the Green Bay Packers.
I got y'all
And
beating
then-
them.
I
I feel you though. I feel you though.
That's how I see it. And then they go back to back, and then the Washington and Denver game, they could never beat Denver. I think the last time they beat Denver was like in the early 90s for some reason.
Yeah, such a weird stat.
Yeah. And then they go back to back against Arizona, Vegas, and then they drop 3 in a row to Philly, Kansas City, and Detroit.
Okay.
And then they end the season with 3 straight wins.
Okay. So I have y'all losing. This is where it can become 10-7. So I'll give you this. Because historically, I'm wrong, but I just think I'm going to be right.
Historically, I'm wrong.
Historically, I just put that out there. Because Dak Prescott owns the Giants. Duh. We all know this. Okay. But I think you lose the first game to the Giants. I have y'all starting
At home?
Yeah, I know.
That'll be crazy.
I know.
Well, that front is crazy. So
that's
would
why
not
I
be
say
surprised.
early, because they're healthy. Nothing weird's happening.
Fair.
That's only reason. But you can't see it. But there's a nice little scribble. At first, I had y'all winning it, and then I said, "Nah, not that one." So, I do have y'all, to your point, having a winning streak after that. So I have you beating Philly in the first game, losing to the Giants, going on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game win streak. Chicago, Green Bay, Jets, Carolina, Washington. I also have you losing to Denver. I have you beating Arizona on Monday Night Football. I do have you going
the
on
Raiders Monday night.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking at trying to go to that game. It's a Monday night game.
Oh, is it? What the heck was I looking at? Dang it. Whatever. All right. Well,
no, he might be right because
look at it real quick.
The 26th is okay. Hold on, I'll find out right now. All right, November 3rd will be Monday night, so he's right.
Arizona?
Right. Yeah, Arizona's Monday night.
Oh, you suck, Joe. You trying to make me look crazy, huh?
No, I'm saying no. It's Monday night.
The game before that's on the 26th, and that's 8 days away. So the only way it'd be 8 days is Monday night, baby.
Like, let me see, because I remember that's what I was looking at. I was looking at
Yeah,
no, it's Monday night. Dallas at Vegas. It's ESPN 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
But
back
look at
Monday night.
Arizona. Look at Arizona though, the game before.
Yeah, they're both
Both back to back Monday nights.
Okay, cool,
That's-
cool. We're both right.
Y'all have bye week in the middle of it. That's why.
The bye week's 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, damn, back to back
Fair.
Monday nights.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, there it is. Yeah,
because I was
that's
still weird though.
Yeah,
Still,
because I was
after
looking
the
at
bye week.
because I'm looking at going to Vegas for that game, that Monday
Yep.
night.
That's after beating Arizona on Monday night. I have you going on a 4-game losing. I have you losing to Vegas. Unfortunately, I forgot you said you're going. That'll really suck.
You got Vegas beating everybody, huh?
No. So
I guess he has
won.
Vegas making the playoffs.
Right, no shit.
So if we went through the other schedules, y'all would have said the opposite. You would have been like, "Oh, Vegas ain't gonna win any games, or what?" I don't have them winning a lot of games. I have them. Spoiler alert: they're gonna finish last in the AFC West.
They're gonna sweep the NFC East, though.
But they are going to be. You kind of see where I'm going. What did I say earlier about the NFC East? Teams that can run the ball. It's going to be a nice little cake. It's going to be a nice little cake.
We don't know what. Unfortunately, we don't know what Genti's going to do yet.
That's true. We don't know anything, but I'm projecting that the run game is going to be good, and they're going to kick the piss out of you.
Hey,
as far
if Genti's there and you do not take him in your fantasy draft, I'm gonna be like, look, dude, you wanted him.
Yeah, I'm not taking him. No, I'm not doing that. Especially in fantasy, I don't trust no rookies, dude. No rookies. But I have you going on a losing streak. Las Vegas, that was a bad. That A's very wrong. I agree. Especially, what did I have? The first or second pick? That made it look way worse. If I had like the 8th, it'd be okay. Brees Hall. That was my hot take. I had to stay consistent. You know what I'm saying?
He did so
I'm not
bad.
doing that. Yeah, he did. I don't want to talk about it. Las Vegas, Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, losing all those. I got you beating Minnesota, losing to the Chargers, losing to Thursday Night Football, short notice, Washington Commanders, and winning the last game at New York. But that New York, if you sweep New York, obviously you can go 10-7, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But 11-6, kind of high. 7-10, pretty low. Both of you guys, give me your. Let's just say, you ain't got to be a complete debate unless I hear some cool things I could put in there. Give me your opening statement for why the Cowboys are going to go 11-6, and Cody, why the Cowboys are going to go 7-10. So you're the more optimistic guy. Go ahead, brother.
So to me, what I've always said in years past, Dak Prescott usually dominates against the NFC East, and record shows it that he is. When he's healthy in the regular season, he dominates. He's been usually averaging about 10.5 to 11 wins every season that he's healthy, unless for some reason he falls off a complete cliff again, which I don't think that you upgrade offensively. You get him another wide receiver, another top 20 wide receiver in the fold. So now it's going to make his job much more easier. And also you have Jake Ferguson, who's not a slouch as well. So I think with those 3 different pass catchers, it's going to be really good next season. Offensively, defensively, he can't do anything about that. He doesn't play on the other side of the ball. But I think it's going to go back to what I been preaching to the choir the past couple shows. When we bring up the Cowboys, it's going to be whenever they were having the NASCAR-led type defense where they're just brushing the passer and getting about 5-6 sacks a game and making that quarterback, kind of happy feet a little bit. And that's why I think 11-6. I don't think it's overly crazy. If I would have said 14-3, kick me off the show right now. But I think 11-6. In some of those games, their weaknesses come to haunt them. Green Bay, like usual, they own them. Denver, for some reason, they own them. Kansas City is leaps and bounds, different kind of franchise. And then, sprinkle in Washington, and then the other divisional games, I think they're going to be tough. That's why I have them at 11-6.
Okay, Cody, 7-10. Tell me why. That's the claim. I want to hear something.
Okay, so believe it or not, I actually think the Cowboys will come out, start kind of hot. I think through like their first 10 games, I got them going nice 7-3. I think they'll be hot, but then I think they're going to lose the last 7 games of the season.
7?
I think they're just going to go on a really bad fall. They play a lot of like 4 hard games in a row. And then the last 3 games, I think, are 2 divisional games, which are going to be hard as it is. And they're
Yeah.
going to already be on the losing streak and just kind of be on the tumble down.
Okay. All right. What, you don't think the offense is going to be like a top echelon offense, or you think the defense is going to be a liability, or what gives you that idea that they're going to, you could say, lose more than they win in the latter part, but lose 7 in a row? That's pretty cool. That's a wild take. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they play the Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings all in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't see them winning any one of those games as of right now until maybe I see something different on the field, but what I can judge on by paper. So then after that, you're already going to be on a losing streak, and it's going to be rough to pick up against the Chargers and then 2 divisional games. I think the Giants game at the end of the season is more the one. I think that they'll lose. I think they'll beat them in the beginning of the season at home, but I think on the road and against the Giants, Giants fuck around, just show up last game just because it's the Cowboys.
Just to beat the
You know
Cowboys.
what I mean? Yeah, just to beat the Cowboys. So, I mean, and then, the Commanders going to be a good game. The Chargers, they might win that game. I could see them beating the Chargers, but I mean, y'all think the Chargers will beat them. So, I mean, make a good case as to why you think they might win 3 of those games.
Well, I have them going on a 3-game losing streak between the Philly and Detroit, Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, and then they bounce back. Minnesota, we don't know where JJ McCarthy
Think
is.
they'll beat Minnesota?
I think so. It's at home.
The reason I have them winning is because with Minnesota, Aaron Jones can't stay healthy, so I don't think running the ball is going to be that big of a thing for them. And then also, if George Pickens doesn't crash out and you have CeeDee Lamb against that secondary, the secondary is not good. They're going to torch him. And we've seen Brian Flores. So Chargers, the only reason with them is I think their running game is going to be very legit, and they're going to run a freaking tank through you. That's why I have y'all losing to the Chargers. But Minnesota, I'm thinking Aaron Jones is not going to be healthy. Jordan Mason is good, but he's not great. That's the only reason why I have them beating the Vikings.
Yeah.
That's a
matchup. He's good against. Yeah, he's not great against a solid defense, but against the NFC East, he'll look great.
Who?
Jordan Mason.
Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. What? Maybe that would be funny, and I
wouldn't be mad at run against bad run defense is like that's the kind of runner you want. You know what I mean?
That's true. We'll see. I think offense for offense, it'll be more of a shootout, and I would bet that Dallas will come up on top if it's a shootout.
I do think that's what I was saying, though. I do think a lot of their games are going to be like 1-score games.
Right.
They will be able to score a lot, but I just think they're going to end up coming down on the wrong side of those games a lot.
Not mad at it at all, brother. Okay, so we're all at odds, really, there. So I got them mediocre, legitimately mediocre, missing the playoffs, possibly the 10. I give you that, Joe. Cody has them completely not great, losing all the games that are close. Let's just say that. Hopefully I don't misrepresent you. And then Joe thinks, in my opinion, Joe, I think the record that you put out there is best case scenario for your Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is
all right, yo. I got to bounce.
All right, man. We'll finish up the Giants later, bro. All right, I see it, Joe. Real quick, Cody's prediction for wait. All right, let's get on the Giants, dude. Okay, New York Giants. Last year, there's not much to talk about. They had a terrible year last year. Offensive line imploded. Defensive line didn't matter what they played because the offense was so incompetent. Tommy DeVito started. That's how bad the offense is. Malik Neighbors is the bright spot. He is.
Neighbors know my name.
All right. He's going to be great.
For fantasy names, it's. I've been seeing it already.
Oh, that's funny. If I get him, I'll try to think of something else, but that's pretty funny. I think everything last year, you could take it however you like. You can put it towards this year. I don't think it's really relevant to this year. I think the team, yes, the offensive line is basically the same. The main negative for them is they are banking on Thomas to stay healthy. If he is healthy, that's the thing. He has
It's a different team. It's a different team when he's there.
Completely different offense.
It's almost like the Trent Williams effect for the 49ers.
Yes.
When he's healthy,
Couldn't agree more.
You could see the difference of how the team looked.
Correct.
But once he got hurt, everything fell off a cliff.
Anytime he was healthy, you would see Danny Dimes get the Danny Dimes nickname instead of the Danny Pennies and all of these other things. When he goes out, all that goes away. The offensive line doesn't play structurally well. Missed blocks. So many bad things happen when Thomas is out. So they're banking on him coming back healthy. Right now, it's a bad start because he's already not practicing because of a foot. I guess better sooner than later, but still not a good sign. They're moving Evan Neal to right guard. I guess this is the last call for Evan Neal because he was a highly touted right tackle, and he has all the physical capabilities of being a good right tackle, and he has not produced that. Defensively is where I think the offseason, if we look at the entirety of the offseason from all the NFC East, I truly think, and this could be crazy take, bro, but I think the Giants won the offseason. As far as draft, as far as offseason acquisitions, the pieces they lost, who cares? They add their issue last year. Sure, they had a good pass rush, even without the draft pick that they got. But their secondary was absolutely terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent. Deonte Banks being the number one corner last year, going into this year. Well, our last year's way too early predictions. That was the big thing. It's like the secondary is not good. I don't know how Deonte Banks is going to be the number one corner. Now they get Paulson Adebo. They get Javon Holland.
Yeah, that was surprising to me that happened. I was
Miami's absolutely stupid.
I was like, Miami, this is why you're Miami. That's why people just want to go play for you, to go run around and party, and they don't want to play football for you.
Correct, because absolutely no sense was made both ways, because Adebo was the turnover machine for the Saints, the one that was causing pass breakups, causing interceptions. You put him over there, which is going to help 100%. And then, of course, Javon Holland was one of the main reasons why Miami's secondary last year exceeded expectations. So you bring both of those guys over to accommodate with the pass rush. I think defensively this team's going to be good, and it's going to go as far as Shane Bowen takes them. I don't like their defensive coordinator. Doesn't coach as he has the personnel that he has. It's a very lenient, conservative coaching method from what the players you have.
Yeah, you shouldn't be conservative with this front at all. You should let them wreak havoc and let them say, hey, go get red, go see red, get the ball, destroy.
Correct. I think best case scenario for the Giants is they see the only reason why he's been so conservative, which I don't think is the reason, but it could be the secondary's been weak. It's like, okay, we can do that, but we're going to get knocked out of the park each time against good receivers, good quarterbacks, good coordinators. So now that they have a turnover merchant and Adebo over there, Deonte Banks hopefully being a better corner because he's not the first option. He's not the number one corner guarding the best guy. Tyler Nubin hopefully taking a step. Javon Holland's great at what he does. Maybe he does let him loose now. But it's like, okay, well, I trust these guys in a man-to-man coverage. Even in zone coverage, I trust these guys. I'm assuming that. Now, when it comes to offense, again, offensive line stay the same. Not a fan of that. I think they should have changed something just because Thomas, if he gets hurt, then we're in the same predicament. We got Russell Wilson, which I do think is an upgrade from last year. No matter what people are saying, Russell Wilson, the one thing that he hasn't deteriorated in is what? What do you think?
Deep ball.
There you go. Deep ball. Right. Throws a perfect deep ball. And guess who his receiver is?
The neighbors know my name.
Neighbors. Okay, Jesus. So I think that is a match made in heaven, in my opinion, as far as for however long it lasts. overall, I think this team got better than last year. I think it is moving in the right direction. Now, does that produce wins? We'll talk about it. But, Joe, what do you think about this team as a whole before we knock this freaking last record prediction out?
So they've addressed everything on the defensive side of the football: safeties, cornerbacks, pass rushers. The defense, I don't have to worry about that at all.
Right.
Now, the thing I'm gonna have to worry about is if this offense and this offensive line could score points. Because if they can't score points, that defense is gonna look horrendous. Because the longer you stay on the field, the more you're gonna look. You're gonna get a. You're just gonna look more bad, and you're just gonna start getting outplayed, and you're just gonna be like, all right, well, what are we supposed to do now if this offense can't put up more than 25 plus points? Because you need at least 25 plus points to win in this league right now, the way offenses is. Because if the defense can hold at bay, the offense has to do something. Russell Wilson, he's seen better days. Hopefully him and Malik can rejuvenate his career one last time. And Tyrone Tracy came out of nowhere last year as the running back one. He took over after Saquon left. Still big shoes to fill in New York, but you saw glimpses of what he could be. It's just that offensive line, can it hold up? If Thomas can stay healthy, well, yeah, you could see them possibly win more games than not. But it's a lot of things that you're banking on. I'm like, and then also you trade up to take Jackson Dart, your future franchise quarterback. Does Brian Dable have more than one season left? I don't know where the Mara family is with that. I feel like he was on the hot seat, but doing a move like this, you kind of give your coach possibly another year or so to let this rookie quarterback come in and show what he has. So just a lot of moving parts offensively. If Russell Wilson was brought in by himself and just was along with Jameis Winston, I would be more confident in them. But with Jackson Dart now in the fold as well, the fan base, I feel like, is going to be clamoring for that if they start off bad. If they start off bad, they're going to be like, okay, well, we took this guy in the first round. I want to see what he could do. That's why we took him.
Okay, so that can be an issue for locker room sake, all of that. I could agree with that. Even if Russ isn't playing bad, we've seen it. He doesn't play bad, but they're like, forget this guy, dude.
Because look at their first 4 games before they finally hit New Orleans: Washington, Dallas, Kansas City, Chargers. Yeah, it's a tough 4 games right there. So if they don't start off good at all, like I'm just gonna let you know right now, I have them starting off 1-3.
Okay, I got them starting 2-2. So
no. 0-3, 0-3 starting off the season before they finally hit. 1-3. They actually get a win out of the first 4.
Okay, well, with the Giants offensively, it's all predicated on the offensive line. I could agree with that.
Yeah.
If Andrew Thomas stays healthy, I honestly think people are sleeping because one of the best, like not just what our eyes see, but what the stats show last year, one of the most accurate deep ball throwers was Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You add that with Malik Neighbors that was getting force-fed, deep, intermediate, short screens. He was getting force-fed by worse quarterback play that were not accurate. You know what I mean? So I do think that people are kind of sleeping on what this offense can be. Of course, if all things line up as far as to the most optimistic, optimal outcome. Now, when it comes to coaching, I like Brian Daboll. You've heard me say it.
Yeah, you love him. You're a Brian Daboll stan.
Yes, I truly am. The way he coaches the team up, the play calling, attention to detail. He's a good head coach. Team, not so much. I get it. Now, when you say like, oh, maybe this gave him another year, I think it all depends on not even what the outcome, like record is. Because if they're competitive, like you said, with the worst case scenario for the Cowboys, if they're competitive but lose the games, that's still kind of a win compared to what they did last year.
Yeah.
So if they're competitive with the games and Jackson Dart starts, let's say week 8, week 9, week 10, and he plays well, I think, yes, he gets another year. If they start, let's say 1-6, It's not looking that good. They're forced to put Jackson Dart in. Jackson Dart also doesn't look good. He's going to get fired. I don't care.
Yeah, I have them starting on the first 6 weeks, 2-4.
Yeah, see, I got them starting hot and not that. So let's get into record prediction. So let's do our prediction first, and then we'll go over the schedule. While I'm making this, go ahead, Joe, and give us your record prediction.
Alrighty, the Sports Mailman's record prediction for the New York Football Giants for this upcoming season will be 5-12. 5-12.
All right. Well, my record prediction for the New York Giants for the 2025-2026 season is going to be 7-10. I think they're going to be better. I think that might actually be a hot take. I think they're going to be better than what a lot of people think, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, 7. I could see 7-10. Don't get me wrong. It's just Russell Wilson, the way he looked in Pittsburgh, not so hot. The way he looked in Denver wasn't so hot. For the past couple of seasons, he hasn't looked particularly well. And the in New York where they play at, it's a lot of wind. I know he throws a good deep ball, but how's that ball going to look in that weather? It's usually bad weather in New York, so let's see how that goes moving forward. And Jackson Dart is there in the fold, so if they start off slow, that New York media, one of the worst medias in all of sports, but that front is going to keep them in a lot of more games more than not, because that front with Tibbs, with Lawrence, with Burns, with Carter, that 4 guys that can go run. Like Dexter Lawrence is probably one of the best interior linemen that we've seen in the past 10 years. Then to pair him up with the other 3 guys who can go run hopefully Abdul Carter can be what we think he's going to be.
Right.
And hopefully Thibodeau can stay healthy. That's the thing with Thibodeau we haven't seen out of him. Put it together for a full season. Brian Burns, we know what he's going to come in and do year in and year out. Those other 2 guys, we do not know what they're going to be. So yes, on paper, what we've seen in the past or what we've seen in highlights, yes. But let's not just jump to conclusion already. Be like, oh, well, this front's going to dominate so much just because of the guys on paper. Thibodeau, you don't know if he can stay healthy. Carter, we don't know. He's had a foot that he's been dealing with in the draft. So let's see how that happens. Burns and Lawrence, I don't worry about them. Those other 2 guys, I just got to wait and see.
Very good. I like that you did that because, yes, a lot of people are so quick to say this is going to be the best pass rush in the NFL. One, I think it could be. But
yeah,
like
don't get
you
me
said,
wrong.
we do have to see it because, like, Thibodeau has to stay healthy. And Abdul Carter, from everything that we've seen, I don't think he's going to – I don't think there's a shot he's a bust. But we still got to see it. No matter what, we still got to see it. Now, let's go over the schedule. Again, I got 7-10. You got 5-12. I do think the first 4 games, again, I got 2-2. I have them beating y'all. Again, that could be totally a loss for sure. And guess the other team, Kansas City Chiefs. They are going to surprise. There's always these games. That's why when we're doing all of these things and it's like, oh, well, this team's better, I'm just going to pick them. Well, it's all about
I have them beating the Chargers. Of course, everybody's beating New Orleans.
Yes.
Who else? I have them beating Chicago. And then their other win is what do I have? Let me see. I'm looking at it right now. They beat the Chargers, they beat New Orleans, Chicago. And then I have them beating Washington once.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah, I just think JD5 with that, like at that time, I think that will be whenever the Washington offensive line is up and down, and JD5 gets a little rattled with that front.
Yeah, the teams I have the Giants beating Dallas, Kansas City, New Orleans, Philly once, San Francisco, Washington, Las Vegas. So I think all of them are like, of course, Dallas, Philly, Kansas City. Yes, those are kind of hot takes, but I mean, you can replace it with, like you said, the Chargers, Chicago, possibly, depending on how they look out. Even us, depending on how our offensive line looks. So,
yeah, I have the ceiling for them at 8 and 9, and then the floor at 5 and 12.
Yeah, funny enough, the ceiling I have also is 8 and 9. The floor I have is just like 6 and 11. I do
Yeah.
think in the beginning, unless you're right and they just poop the bed from the jump, I do think Russ is gonna be good under Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Again, we all agree it depends on this offensive line, but offensive line
Yeah.
early should be healthy, and I think that's where you're
I
gonna get
hope
the best.
so, man. But you know how that New York weather is, man. It's always wet and wild, and we slip on something and boom, you break a back or break a something.
Okay.
Because it's crazy. You've always heard like players say that they fell down the stairs and they end up hurting themselves for some reason. I don't know how that even happens.
That's crazy because New York cheated when they won those 2 Super Bowls. That's why. Payback is
So let it go, Milton. Let it go.
What it
I'll
is.
buy you a David Tyree jersey.
Wow. Yeah. You're lucky it's the end of the show. I put you in timeout. Okay. Oh, you could get yourself out of timeout. Damn it. All right, that's not fair. So that's good for NFC East. I had a paper saying what's next. It's going to be the AFC. Oh, I think that's NFC. Yeah. NFC West. It's
Okay.
going to be next week. That should get interesting. Maybe. Depends. And yeah. Till then, dude. But yeah, so the division winner for all of us is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Will repeat for the first time since 2003, I believe, as NFC East champions. I know we haven't done all of the NFC, but I'm assuming your belief. Wait a minute. You think Washington and Dallas are going to make the playoffs, and Philly?
I got to look. I feel like Philly and Dallas. I feel like Philly and Dallas will make the playoffs. I got to look at for Washington if they're going to squeak in at that 7th spot or not.
Okay, yeah, do that because that'll be a hot take for me.
Like it's happened before. We see division get 3 playoff.
Yeah, but
teams.
I don't think like if we look at NFC West, I think overall they're better than NFC.
I'm not as high on the 49ers as a lot of people are saying. Like that's the thing with me. Like when I'm looking at it, a lot of the guys that they've lost, they have to hope and pray CMC comes back to MVP like form. If he's like that, then of course I feel like they make the
anytime
playoffs.
CMC plays, does he?
But that's the thing; he don't really play.
He does. Every time he has a great year, then he doesn't play the next year.
Yeah,
last year he didn't play.
He plays in the McCaffrey
timing.
alumni game with all his family. Yeah, plays in that.
What is that?
No, because his dad was a former football player in the NFL. Right. His brother's a player for the Commanders.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, so
that's
he
crazy.
Plays in that.
Actually. Yeah, Luke McCaffrey. Shout out to Luke. But yeah, all right. Well, Joe, thank you for being here, brother. Everybody that's here now, that's crazy. Thank you for being here. We will be back next week going in the way too early predictions of the NFC West. From what Joe just told me, I think we're going to have a nice discussion. It's going to be a hot take, possibly I got. We'll see about it. But all glory to Jesus Christ, of course. Thank y'all for being here. Joe, I'll see you next time.